Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Esper Tempo. I've been playing this a lot. I played it at Eternal Weekend, had a great time, did pretty well, and this deck is just awesome. We've got the best creatures in Legacy, Tamiyo and Psychic Frog, and then backing them up, we have oldie but goodie, Murktide Regent. We got 3 of those. We got 3 Orcish Bowmasters, and we've got a single Brazen Borrower, which is both interaction and a threat. So 15 threats, essentially. And then we just have a ton of disruption. We've got 3 Thoughtseize. We've got 4 Daze, 4 Force of Will, 4 Wasteland. In terms of removal, we have the best removal in the game. 4 Swords to Plowshares, 2 Prismatic Endings. We jump over to the sideboard. We've got another 2 Prismatic Endings. We've got a Surgical Extraction for Graveyard Strategies, and then Graph Digger's Cage. We got 3 of these. These are good against Nadu. They're good against Graveyard Strategies, especially Reanimator Strategies, and they're actually pretty decent against Mystic Forge, which is the breakout deck of Eternal Weekend with a 61% win rate. Graph Digger's Cage shuts off Mystic Forge. Like, basically, they can't use it. So for 1 mana, you're effectively countering their 4 mana artifact. Pretty good. And then also in that matchup, these Prismatic Endings are going to come in. But what we're really gunning for is just being able to stop them with Consign to Memory, of which we're playing 4. You may be wondering, why is there a basic Plains in the sideboard? Well, in addition to the 3 Hydroblasts, we do have a basic Plains because it's pretty good against Blood Moon decks. It's also pretty good against Delver-style decks because Plains can't be wastelanded, and you play it out, and it's just there for the rest of the game. You have access to your white removal, and we do board in the Prismatic Endings in Delver-type matchups. The other reason Plains is in here is, of course, when you have a Plains, when you have an island, it doesn't matter that your 3rd land is a mountain because it's non-basic. You can still Prismatic End a Blood Moon or a Magus of the Moon. So it's a pretty good card. And that is the deck. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. As always, I encourage you to leave comments with timestamps. I encourage you to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Most people aren't subscribed when they watch this video. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can get access to basically every card through the MTGO creator program, and then I'll be able to play a broader array of decks because I won't be having to pay my own personal money to buy cards that I'm just going to use for filming a single video. So that'll be a big help. And above all, I hope you just enjoy. I hope you learning what it's all about. And learning is why I created this channel, just getting feedback from the community in the comments section. I hope you read the comments as well and find some of the observations about my play patterns to be helpful as you expand your skills as a control gamer. All right, let's jump into it. Round 1, we're against somebody who's playing the same deck we are, basically. Very slight modifications, 3 Dazes, Dismember. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a pretty fun mirror, and it could take a while. Knowing that they are likely playing 4 Wastelands, I think it would be a mistake to keep this hand. Also, Force of Will is not good in the mirror. They may have switched off of this, but they were on it. They open with congrats on your finish at EW. Thanks. I'm super proud of how I performed. Okay, so I'm going to wish them luck. And I think even though this is a 1-lander, it's a better 1-lander than what we had before. I think I'm going to put back the Force. I guess I could put back Thoughtseize. I think I'm going to put back Thoughtseize, and then I'm just going to Surveil in step. We don't have a path to a 2nd land, but I am worried about going down further. Let's do it. So Thoughtseize, one of the reasons I put it back, I normally, if I wasn't mulling more, they're mulling to 5 as well. Well, they're mulling to 5. I only mulled to 6. So my plan here is probably just see what they do and then go fetch Meticulous Archive so I have Plow up and then deploy the Tamiyo. That gives me an additional look for a land. I just would hate to get wasted out of the game because they are most likely playing all 4 Wastelands. Let's take a look here. I see 4 Wasteland. Yep. They are playing the Scrubland, so their list is slightly different from mine, but it's mostly the same. Okay. So I am going to just float this out here and pass. All right, Island. That's a strong opening. I mean, like, it's not too late. I could go for the Island here. I do think I just want to get on board with Tamiyo. One of the problems Yeah, maybe I do just Tamiyo here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Island Tamiyo if I don't draw a land. Okay. This is good. I'm going to play this. I believe Island is the only land in their deck that is basic. I am going to take the very conservative route, and I'm just going to protect Tamiyo here. And you may be wondering why I'm saying Tamiyo instead of Tamiyo. Tamiyo is from the Kamigawa Plain. Thus, she is likely Japanese. Tamiyo is a Japanese name, so I'm just going to pronounce it in Japanese with the long A, even though everybody pronounces it Tamiyo. Here, this should be a non-basic. Oh, they actually have a basic Plains main deck. Okay. Plow. I think this is a force. And my reasoning here is we do want to be able to create at least one clue with her. They can't Daze back. All right. So we are going to get to create a clue. And it's possible they don't have another force. So I'm just going to create the clue and I'm going to pass. This is a super passive opening, but they mulled the 5. We're likely in the mirror. I would rather err on the side of just being very careful here. They absolutely could have a Bowmaster coming out here. I'll be surprised if they have a third land since they mulled so deep. They do have a third land, a surveil land. But it's not a black source, so we don't have to worry about Bowmasters this turn. I would be like pretty dead in the water if they wasted here. We haven't produced any Wastelands off the top of our deck. I'm sorry. We haven't produced any non-Wasteland lands off the top of our deck. Okay, they put a Delta in the graveyard, so I'm going to assume they have plenty of land. And we are not going to be using this Wasteland to interact with them. We're just going to be using it to fuel our one-sided Howling Mine. All right. Ponder is good. I'm going to attack first. Then I'm going to ponder, and then I can crack the clue as well and potentially get her flipped, which would be good considering my opponent's board is empty. However, they are playing Prismatic Ending, so if I flip her, my goal will be to minus her rather than keep plussing her. Meticulous Archive is fine. I like the Prismatic Ending. I don't really care for the second Tamiyo. So what I think I'm going to do... Tamiyo... So I think I could just put her into the graveyard. Actually, I've got so much removal, and I don't think that there's anything Prismatic Ending deals with that Plow doesn't deal with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep the stack exactly as it is. And then I'm going to put the Prismatic Ending in the bin. All right, and we'll pass. Again, this I don't expect for us to ever crack this Wasteland. Dress down. Okay, so they are likely on some sort of plow strategy. I think the simplest thing to do is just to stop this. At the very least, it's, preventing them from drawing a card. So now I'm convinced they're just on straight blue-white. Okay, and we got a force out of that. That's great. So now what they're going to do is hopefully not play Null Drifter. If they play Null Drifter, I'm going to be super screwed. They'll gain 3 life. Hopefully they don't have a Wasteland to go with it. So they do have 3 cards. Hopefully this is just a Dreadnought. That's fine. I can deal with that. I can deal with 2 Dreadnoughts. There's another Dreadnought. What I can't deal with is a Null Drifter. Okay. So as long as they don't have Wasteland, we do have a path to survival in just plowing these 2. One after the other. I'm going to go ahead and play this first, just in case they have a Spell Pierce. We are going to plow one. And now we're going to attack. They're down to 1 card. I don't really see a point in not cracking now. But we did play our land for turn, so I'm just going to chill. I'll pretend I have interaction up. Maybe they'll respect like a Spell Pierce or something. Okay. Coming in for a pretty big hug here. Dropping to 6. Again, it shouldn't matter if we're able to plow. Oh no, I forgot to freaking crack the clue. That was so loose. Okay. I think we just go ahead and plow here first. And if that works, that's great. If it doesn't work, we have Borrower. Borrower can hit a lot of things. Okay, that didn't work. They're hellbent, so we know that this will work. So we can just let that resolve. And yeah, this is one of the reasons why Borrower is in and Kaito is not. I guess technically Yeah, man, I feel so dumb for not cracking that clue. That could totally be of consequence. So our opponent is just waiting for an enabler, and then they've basically got us. We're probably not going to be able to deal with the other one. Like if they can put it out somehow. Brainstorming, probably putting that away. Yeah, this game just got a lot more interesting with them having that force. So far, they've forced twice. Pitching consign. Okay, so they have main deck consign, which it's good to know that they pitched that. Had we done it in a different sequence, they might have just let that happen and then consigned it when it came back down. So they're cantripping their faces off. But they are an AB deck, and we don't need AB. We just need A, and we can win. So what I'm going to hope to do is crack a clue here and reveal something that can flip Tamiyo, like a Ponder or a Brainstorm. They certainly could have a Plow in hand, but I think what they're probably trying to do is just get Dreadnought out so Dreadnought can finish the job. Okay, they didn't drop a land. That's not good. That means they probably have action. Thoughtseize. Right, I'm going to go ahead and start by attacking. If I can Thoughtseize them, I absolutely will. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just crack a clue here. Land, please. All right, well, I'm not going to complain. We are going to have to chill, though. So if they invest 2 cards in getting a Dreadnought into play, we can just plow it. But we are going to pass to plow with Daze Protection mana up. All right, no play. They could very much have Doorkeeper Thrall. It's like totally possible. All right, we got it. So what I'm going to do here is I am just going to go ahead. I mean, I could flip Tamiyo, but I'm pretty worried about what they might have in hand. I'm going to just go ahead and Thoughtseize them here. Actually, am I going to Thoughtseize them? I think it might actually be a mistake to Thoughtseize here. My reasoning is we have Bowmasters up. We're going to be dropping a 3. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I don't want to go to 3. That's where you get beaten down by like the Doorkeeper Thrall. So we have the ability to just crack clues twice. I don't think that's correct though. I think I'm just going to chill with all this interaction up, with double clue activation up. We have so many clues to get through if they don't do anything. Dress down. I think we just let this happen. And we have to hope that... Yeah, unfortunately, Dress down does shut off Orcish Bowmaster, so if they do have a Null Drifter, we're pretty screwed. I'm not sure how many Null Drifters they play. I don't think Null Drifter is a good card. Let the record state. I should have wasted them. Because if they do have the Null Drifter, that's like totally backbreaking. So that was a second punt. This is fine. Plowing here. Nothing I can do about this. Floating 1 blue. Their own Tamiyo. That's fine. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm just going to let that happen. I do need to get rid of this Phyrexian Dreadnought. The real question is, do I just want to do it next turn? And I think I do because I want to draw 2 cards here. I'll just go ahead and do this with the Dress Down on the stack. All right. So Tamiyo was worth a lot of cards. Depending on what we draw, we might even be able to flip a Tamiyo this turn, but we primarily need to focus on just getting rid of Phyrexian Dreadnought here. I'm going to go ahead and just plow it now. They're nearly hellbent. Then I'm going to drop this. And then I think I just pass. And now I've got Thoughtseize up if they attempt to flipper or cantrip again. We're going to have a long road ahead of us, but we've got to start getting there somehow. I don't think they have Kaito. They're not representing Kaito mana, but knowing that Kaito's in the format, I think it's always correct to just block. It doesn't cost anything. I am going to go ahead and Bowmaster this. Just trying to get the damage show on the road. This could very much be like one of those rounds that goes to time. Cracking the clue in response. That's fine. They are going to flip Tamiyo here. We do have Brazen Borrower that we can flash in if we need to. We have plenty of mana. I am going to probably go ahead and attack Tamiyo with my Orc Army. Just to reduce our loyalty a little bit. Okay, this Wasteland is probably going to take out our White Force. Nothing we can do about that. And they do have Plow that they can regrow, but okay, this Murktide's potentially pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and start by just attacking with Tamiyo and with the Orc Army. Might as well go ahead and attack that. So at this point, since they have the ability to regrow the Plow, I don't think we do this. I think we wait a turn and we just draw cards and potentially, or flash in Borrower is more likely what I'm going to try to do here. Yeah. And I'm just going to chill. And if they plus, we're going to be doing a little bit more damage next turn. 3 instead of just 2. This is going to be a freaking grind though. Okay, they have a second Tamiyo, which is fine. They're not going to be able to easily use her ability, but they can basically use her as a wall. Let's go ahead and put this in. Psychic Frog. It's a very good card. There's certainly a possibility that they just like plow, like minus and plow the Psychic Frog. All right, so Tamiyo will be able to triple block potentially. Or I'm sorry, she'll be able to she'll probably just take like 1 loyalty here. If we crack this, we could draw a land, which would be good. I think I'm going to go for it. Rewarded. All right, we're going to play that out. We still don't have white, so we're still in the danger zone. This is great. I wouldn't mind double Murktiding. That might be a path into us being able to take over the game. We might even be able to get a Murktide that's bigger than Phyrexian Dreadnought. I suspect they're probably trying to decide whether to regrow the plains. Or, Null Drifter. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just going to put these on Tamiyo. And they may very well be able to stifle this or do something like that. What? They conceded? Why did they concede? Huh. We don't know what they drew. But they could just have like they have 40 life. They still have an active Tamiyo that's going to be hard to kill. I'm not sure that I agree with that concession. Okay. Okay. So, sideboard here. Prismatic Ending comes in. Consign actually is pretty good. It can stop the Tamiyo flip trigger, but it is also very good at stopping. Oh, and I think we do bring in plains in place of one of our Tundras. I think Daze comes out. Does Daze come out? So we're on the play. I think Force comes out. Borrower is definitely, it's proven it's worth its salt. They said my hand was 3 bricks, but you could be right. I really like Bowmasters when they're playing Null Drifter and stuff like that. I feel like Daze is one of those cards that's really good early on, but this I don't expect this game to end quickly. So I do think it's fine to take out a Daze. Maybe we keep the Daze in and we just bring in a Consign. But they have like access to lots of basics. I still think Daze is good. Because if they don't respect it, we can get them. Thoughtseize, it would normally not be good against like a deck that is hitting you with the 12-12, but it is an AB combo deck, so I'm going to keep it. Game 2, we're up a game, first round. This is a snap keep. We've got lots of interaction. We've got the ability to go get our basic planes. Bowmasters is quite good in the matchup. I'm not sure if they're playing Doorkeeper Troll, it may not be actually that great, but even if we don't get the ETB trigger, it does still serve as kind of a lock piece. If they're playing Consign instead of Stifle, that is huge for me because Stifle is like a really big pain. I do think we just go get the planes and we end this thing right now is my intuition. Just because like it'll just accumulate clues, which not going to be good. They did mull, which you love to see in these matchups that are like extremely tight. Okay, well, we'll just play this out and we'll save the fetch for later. If they Daze, it's not a big deal. Okay, cool. There's an argument for plowing there instead of ending just because, like, let's say hypothetically they did Daze it, then they untapped and they flipped it. Now our one removal for it is in the graveyard. Okay. Tamiyo's great. We can't both Tamiyo and Caster, so I think I'm just going to play out this. And I'm going to pass. And if they, in their upkeep, I could go ahead and deploy a Bowmasters. I'm pretty sure they don't have a Stifle or a Daze. I just want to see if I can get them doing something here. If they're going to like do a end step brainstorm. Okay, they're fetching. Let's see if whether they surveil this away. My opponent's tanking pretty hard, which makes me... Okay, so they bend the Dreadnought. Interesting. All right, so the reason for this timing, doing the Bowmasters in upkeep, is now if they want to do something with this mana, they have to... I mean, they could just... Okay. But I wanted to like deny them mana if they did want to emergency brainstorm in response. I think likely this is going to get plowed. That's fine. I want to draw plows away from other creatures like Murktides later on. So I can remove the stop here in their upkeep. So I think what I want to do here is I'm just going to hold the strand. I'm going to attack first. Keep up maximal options. And I would like to get some clue. Okay, this is something I can just plow. That is 100% a card you don't want them to have access to. Now they're going to take 2 damage because that would have killed my Bowmaster. Now I'm going to play this out and then I'll just chill. And I'll keep the brainstorm up as a way to flip it. I think most likely though they're not going to go after Tamiyo. They're going to go after Bowmaster. But they do likely play Prismatic Ending, so we can't take for granted that like a flip Tamiyo is any good. I'm going to go ahead and come in for a hug again, and we do have Plow up if they want to use their ability again. They may be doing something here at the beginning of combat step. Okay, they are dismembering Tamiyo. I am going to respond with a brainstorm. They are denying us a clue in doing this. They're forcing... That is okay. I will take that exchange. They pitched a consigned memory. They're down to 2 cards. So Tamiyo is dead. We're not going to get a clue. I'll attack. I think we just float our archive out. And what I'm looking for would be a Murktide would be pretty high priority. Wasteland. They only have 2 lands. I don't think this is terrible. I think I'm going to keep it because if we can waste them... Then they're going to have to use their cantrips to try to find land. And they're not going to be able to... Okay. I still think it's fine to keep it. Like, I'm not too disappointed in keeping it. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I mean, I am going to attack with the plow creature. Because we can actually keep them off of doing anything fancy here. Like, if we plow their... if let's say they do have a Doorkeeper Thrall. Then we don't really have to worry about plowing the... Okay, is this another Doorkeeper Thrall? It is. All right, and it is going to be greeted with a 1-way ticket to the farm. They're going to take 2. They're dropping to 8. Go ahead and hit this. If they're dazing, I want it to be painful for them to daze. All right, and like we've pretty much laid our cards on the table. They have 2 cards in hand. There's a Tamiyo. They are going to have clue activations, but those clue activations don't do a lot. If I can find another Wasteland, that would be strong. Play this out. I'm going to just attack with both. Get at least 1 damage through. Squeeze their life total. Like, we are very much the beatdown here. And even if they create clues, again, those clues are going to be painful. I have a Surveil land trigger at the end step. They do have another land. They cannot, cast their Divination, aka Thought... Null Drifter without feeling some pain. They're doing it. All right. Oh, well, I'm going to just hit them. Grow my army. This is going to be really painful for them. It's not like they had a choice. You know, like I definitely see where they're coming from. They're going to flip their Tamiyo. They're going to be able, like, I'm going to definitely attack into Tamiyo here. And knock some loyalty offer. Let's go get the Surveil land. What are we looking for? Prismatic Ending would be great. We're not looking for that. I can tell you that much. So it's basically like drawing a card. I'm glad to have the second one in there so far. All right. I think we could ponder. I think Pondering is fine here because if we find a Wasteland or if we find... I don't think these are good enough. I mean, Tamiyo is actually not terrible this late in the game because we're going to be able to crack lots of clues, but I don't want to draw those. Well, I don't have to draw those other cards, but yeah, I think we can do better. Hopefully this isn't a land. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and just bounce her out of play, I think. And then I can cast later, and I'll have yet another beater. And now I can attack just for 2. Actually, if I play this out, I can just go ahead and cast. And then maybe they daze, but it slows them down. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it. I'll do it now just to reduce the likelihood of them being able to daze. We'll grab yet another Tundra since we have plenty of other lands. Don't expect back to basics or anything like that out of their deck. It probably didn't hurt to grab the island there, just in case they were like some crazy back to basics player, but I don't think they are. They're under a lot of pressure here. Plow resolves. Tamiyo comes out. Oh, brainstorm. So they chose to brainstorm before they Tamiyo. They may, like Tamiyo is not going to be able to block both of these. So they're probably looking for a prismatic ending or a plow. But they actually need both, and they have 1 mana. So they're in a really tight spot. We've successfully delvered them here. All right, one of their 3 cards is a land. So they could have double plow here. There's a plow. Prismatic ending. Tamiyo. Okay. So we are going to be able to kill Tamiyo in combat. And we've got the fresh card coming. Unknown. Well, yeah, I think we do this. They're hellbent. So, and now we have a lethal attack. Yeah, that was clean. I think we are favored here just by virtue of having the prismatic endings. And having like Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is just so strong against AB combo decks. Like I did not drop a single game at Eternal Weekend against what is it called? Stinkin' Show. Stinkin' Show, like I just clean 2-0'd it both times I faced it. And it's because they're an AB combo and because we play Thoughtseize, which Thoughtseize didn't factor in at all in either of those games, but it is really good if we do get a chance to resolve it. I was so low in life, I didn't want to. I was a coward last game, game 1. So we're heading into round 2. We're 1-0. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent on the draw. I'm going to mulligan this hand. This is pretty good, actually. I think we could probably put back an Underground Sea and hope that they're not a Wasteland deck. We're most likely to draw a land. This is not like a dangerous keep by any means. This is like a very safe mull on the draw. I love Thoughtseize. Once upon a time, so we're probably up against Eldrazi, unfortunately, which means that we're probably going to be suffering when we Thoughtseize them. But I still think that's probably the play, because if we can get a Kozilek's Command out of their hand or a Sowing Mycospawn or something, it'll be worth it. Sylvan's Safekeeper. Okay, so we're up against Nadu. Well, that's a good matchup for us. So normally I'd say Bolt the Bird, but we don't have a means of doing so. We could be up against Cradle Control. I'm pretty sure we're not going to get wasted, though. So let's take their action. We can't beat... Elvish Reclaimer is super annoying, like super powerful card. Sylvan Safekeeper, though, is just frankly unbeatable. We're just never beating that. Green Sun is good, too. Oh, man, they have the freaking nutty draw. Oh, no. We take Sylvan Safekeeper, and then... Let's see. They're like basically 2 turns away from natural ordering. I'm trying to imagine a scenario in which we can stop them. Elvish Reclaimer gets Maze or gets... I mean, they could have Wastelands in their deck. I don't think they do. I think they're on the... I'm not sure. I mean, natural order is... We would have to dig for an answer and find a force. They could definitely go get... I think we do have to take natural order, and here's why. Because they can Green Sun Zenith, and they can go get Shepherd, and then we won't be able to stop their natural order. So I think natural order is the take. But I'm thinking we're going to lose this one. Mulliganing on the draw against... I don't think we're favored in this matchup. Okay, so this is probably Reclaimer or Sylvan Safekeeper. I mean, it sucks, but like... with that, yeah, we have to respect them seeing the line. It doesn't, you're not doing yourself any service, like, thinking your opponents were fools and aren't going to see the line. Maybe that was a misplay though, because now we really don't have any way of removing stuff. I mean, they don't have a lot of creatures, or they don't have a lot of lands. That's kind of like the saving grace here. So actually, they couldn't have natural ordered this turn. Yeah, I mean, what I'm looking for is removal and wastelands. I definitely want to waste that. So I'm probably going to ponder for a wasteland. They've dumped almost all their hand. This is a tragic draw. We probably want to just shuffle it away. I think I'm going to brainstorm and then fetch. No, because if I find a wasteland, I'm just going to look for a wasteland. I think if we shut off this, then it's not like we're less screwed than we would be otherwise. This is a terrible sequence of draws. We don't even want the force. Well, okay, so they haven't used their Green Sun Zenith yet, so forcing Green Sun would actually be a play we could make. It's not a strong play. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the force, then I'm going to go get a Tundra, and I'm going to attempt to plow, and hopefully they'll just sack one of their lands. It feels bad doing this, but I assume that they have some way to like tech up the number of lands they have. What would we ideally like to remove from the table? Let's go after Sylvan Safekeeper. This decreases the amount of mana they produce. Okay, they're just sacking to protect, which is fine. Figured that was going to happen. All right. Games 2 and Games 3 get better because we bring in Prismatic Endings. But naturally drawn Sylvan Safekeeper, when they also have Natural Order, which and effectively ends the game. It grabs Atraxa or it grabs the big guy. When I say the big guy, I mean Craterhoof, Behemoth. So they're just going to come in. They're actually they've got a pretty decent aggro plan here. There's no reason to attack with both. They could just totally attack with one because the Ignoble Hierarch, and they realize that. Okay, so we're taking 2 with the Exalted trigger. They are actually, I think they might be going ahead and buffing it further, which is fine with me. I'm not worried about losing the combat damage. I'm worried about just losing due to them having overwhelming advantage. Wow, so they can actually cycle. Oh man, that's so much mana. But it is during the attack step, and they're not going to be able to cast their Green Sun Zenith here. Okay. That was a kind of a cool mini ritual thing. Now they're exiling our graveyard, which I don't really care about at all. It does prevent us from being able to fly the frog, which, frankly, if I have a frog out, which I might get a frog out next turn, I'm not going to be using it to attack. I'm going to be using it to hang back and just block. 4/5. So we take 4, we drop to 13. This 3 mana, I don't know what they're going to spend it on. Nothing. Works for me. And now they don't have enough to Green Sun. Last card in hand is Green Sun. If I can find a way to kill Sylvan Safekeeper again, I probably will attempt to do that again. Bowmasters. Oh, and they can just basically sack the Bojuka Bog and stop it from working. I don't think we need 2 Psychic Frog. I think I am going to just try to find if I kill this land, it's possible they don't draw a land and they can't cycle into a land. Taking the Green Sun would be good. I think so. I do think I'm going to brainstorm off of this white source. So I'm looking for Wasteland or a fetch to maybe shuffle away. Okay, these are not terrible. I do think Brazen Borrower is terrible here. It's an atrocious card. It does pitch to force. I think I'm going to Bowmaster and force them to sacrifice a land to protect Sylvan Safekeeper again. It's a super weak play, but at least we get a chump blocker on the table. We shuffle away these cards. We still have force up. I'm going to get a white source here because I think it's more likely that I'll need to double plow. Is that true though? We have Psychic Frog in hand. I'm just going to do it like that. Black, blue. Would you like to sacrifice a creature to keep your Sylvan Safekeeper alive? I imagine you will. Sacrifice a land, rather. Yep. Okay, and we don't get an army token, which sucks, but this card is just so strong against us. So we can still counter the Green Sun Zenith. And we're just looking for a Wasteland for this Cradle. Hopefully they don't find another land. They find another land, we're dead. Like, I don't think we're coming back from this, but I'm going to keep playing it out. They're attacking with both. 6 damage. There's not really any reason for me to throw Bowmasters under the bus at this point. I'm just going to hang back. But like I'm not even sure how we would win this game. Giant Murktide would wall for like a turn. We'd have to have like, we don't even have cards in our graveyard anymore for our Giant Murktide. We're going to have to counter this Green Sun. Who knows what it would get? Definitely something bad. Like I said, like Allosaurus Shepherd is just an absolute nightmare for us. Not only is it, I'll just counter it. So we play Psychic Frog, but we don't have any cards to pitch, so it's not even a good blocker. If they just attack with one creature, then it becomes pretty unwinnable. We can Tamiyo and Psychic Frog here. Neither of them are going to work. I think we just concede and preserve our dignity. Okay, so I don't have this on my bingo card. You can check the sideboard guide if you'd like in the description. I have a comprehensive sideboard guide for the 20 most likely to encounter matchups. This is not one of them. If you hear piano in the background, my son is, he loves Tingling the Ivory. I think Bowmasters is good. It is going to hit a lot of stuff. We just got unlucky. So that's a lot of cards that we're bringing in. What are we taking out? I think we take out Force. I think we take out Daze for sure. So maybe we bring a couple forces back in. They're not going to be going after our land. I do think we can cut an island. Island doesn't do anything. If anything, they're going to have choke. That might actually be a reason to bring in that. And I don't think they're playing Carpet of Flowers, but if they are, that's definitely a reason to have a Plains in the deck. And with that, I think we're just bringing the forces back in. It's not terrible, but like I said, they likely have some number, maybe 4 shepherds in their deck. I do think Grafdigger's Cage will be really good though. So our game plan is simple. We disrupt them. We remove their creatures. We get a Grafdigger's Cage down, and we just win with a Giant Murktide or, pretty big Frog. I don't think their deck is famous for having a lot of removal. A lot of these decks play Talongate. I can't remember what it's called. Magara or something like that. Oh, is this good? This is good. I like opening with Thoughtseize, and then we've got to turn to Frog, and we can just pitch a lot of stuff to Frog because, as I said, they're light on removal. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and get the Underground Sea and Thoughtseize. And then we'll have a much better clear, progression of what we want to roll out once we have looked at their hand. Okay, so they do have Snuff Out, which, it's sad that people still think Snuff Out is a good card. I'm sorry, but like all the good threats in the format are black. I think Endurance is not a big deal. Like Frog is going to be potentially huge, and they can't snuff it out. So I think we take Green Sun here, and we just leave them with the other stuff that's not that impactful. Yeah. Green Sun is like so scary out of their deck. So just to be clear, they have 2 lands. They have a Snuff Out, a Hierarch. So I imagine they're just going to go land Hierarch here. We don't immediately have a way to kill Hierarch, but we can just, play Frog and pass. If we draw a way to kill Hierarch, do we even bother? Probably. A lot of times, like, they may have boarded in Endurance because they thought we were on some sort of reanimation plan. I don't think we bolt the bird here. I think we get the Frog going. I'm just going to get another Underground Sea since I've got a Plains. Just in case they do somehow disrupt my mana, I want to make sure I have access to black. Laughing in the face of Snuff Out. This Frog its soul is as black as they come. It has seen things on those various psychedelic voyages it's gone on. All right, this is probably Endurance. I may actually just plow Endurance so I can get a hit in and draw a card. How many cards would I pitch to Endurance here? I think I don't need to pitch any if I plow Endurance, and I can just keep accumulating resources. Brainstorm, of course, being very good. Elvish Reclaimer. Okay, that is a good plow target. I have a profound amount of respect for this. I think this is one of the most powerful 1-drops in the entire format. And I used to have a policy that like I would plow on site, but that's against depths. So that was their card for the turn. So we know their hand is Endurance, Snuff Out, 1 unknown. All right, Force is fine. Go ahead and plow here. I'm going to leave these cards in here because I do want to bait them into like trying to go after my graveyard, but I don't actually care about it. I can just discard cards and make Frog big enough to kill stuff in combat. If they want to trade, this is fine. Like just denying me a draw for their Noble Hierarch. All right, we're going to draw. Murktide. Okay, I'm going to do this. Let's see if they're heads up enough. Once this resolves, okay, now we're going to Murk. And then we have a pretty big Murk, and I'll just have to force, tragically, have to force that Snuff Out that I was making fun of earlier. But this is a lot of potential damage here. And I do think we put the pedal to the metal. They are going to lose 4 life when they snuff this out. So now, unfortunately, our Psychic Frog is not big enough to be able to hang with an Endurance. So if they cast an Endurance, we may have to hold back. Here comes Endurance. That's fine. If they target us, they make our Murktide even bigger. They are making our Murktide bigger. Questionable. They could have just targeted nobody. Now they have the option to play a second one. No, they don't. They don't have enough mana. See what we draw here. Okay, so I think if we can find a plow, it's worth it. Grafdigger's Cage is a damn good card. It does shut off a lot of their outs. I don't really care for these subsequent Psychic Frogs. Okay, so I think we do want to attack with Murktide. We're going to get them a little bit lower, and then we want to deploy this Grafdigger's Cage. That's my instinct. This shuts off at least probably 8 cards in their deck. And their ability to fetch land. So we are easily racing them. Even if they put another Endurance in, we're going to easily race them. They could draw another Snuff Out, which would be backbreaking. They would pay 4 life to do that. They're going to have to chump. They are wise in not attacking in. So I think we just keep the Abyss. This is the second Endurance. They can double block and only lose 1. But I don't think that's like a great trade. I mean, they could have just blocked with 1. Please buff. Don't learn your lesson. Buff us. Do they have yet another Endurance? That's wild. Wow. Oh, we could lose to this wall of Endurances. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to get rid of that Ponder in our graveyard. So we're only going to be able to kill 1. Wow. I did not imagine that we would be in this situation. That is really tight play on my opponent's part. Yeah, and the triple blocking. Yep, so we can only kill 1. That's pretty good. Yeah. Wow. They don't have good attacks. We don't know what their last card is. We can fly over and hit them later. I think we just have to chill. Sadly. Over time, we can make our Psychic Frog big enough that it can hit for lethal, but we're drawing another Psychic Frog. I think putting additional power on this Psychic Frog is better. Okay, what's this? They can go get Grist. It's still something they can get. They're playing... Oh, they are playing black. But like for the most part, it's just like a mono green build. Like I haven't seen White of the Reliquary or anything like that. They may just be playing Bayou specifically to be able to power out, snuff out. Yeah, my opponent has played super well. Like, oh no, Sylvan Safekeeper. Great. Just my favorite card. They've got so much mana. We are shutting off a lot of what they can do with Grafdigger's Cage. But it's going to be pretty tough. If they're disciplined, they just hang back. So I do think this was a mistake because now I can kill their endurance when I hit. They get double exalted. I am going to pitch 2 cards, depending on what I draw. Oh, no, I draw another Psychic Frog. I'm going to pitch 2 frogs, and then I'm going to kill their endurance in combat. And they will probably have to block. That will reduce the number of blockers they have. But like a lot of our top decks are bad now. Yeah, so we're 2 swings from death. Yeah. So they could actually just chump. So I do need to discard a card. And now I'm going to exile 3 cards. Give it flight. I will take this opportunity to kill one of their endurances, though. I think that's correct because they're attacking with so much power. If they give me a card, that's good. We'll see whether they block. This has been a great game, by the way. Like, I love playing this kind of Magic, like fair on fair, and I wish I could do it more. It sucks to just pitch so many cards, but we do want to kill this endurance. All right, and now they can crack back for 5 at the maximum based on what they're currently presenting. The best cards that we can draw here, I can't really think of anything because that Sylvan Safekeeper shuts off so many options. Like, I do think like a Bowmaster would not be terrible because we could Bowmaster them and then we'd have double blockers and then we could potentially fly over and hit them. Play Bayou for turn. Okay, so they've got tons of mana, all dressed up, nowhere to go. This Grafdigger's Cage has not done anything. They have so many lands. We can hang back. Their creature is going to be big enough to kill ours in combat. I don't think we have an option. I think we just have to hang back. This will go to 5, 6, but that'll be the same size as theirs, and we're just going to chill for 2 turns and discard cards. I don't think attacking is smart. Even if we kill one of these, they could attack with... No, if they chump for some reason, but like drawing a card, what are we going to draw? I can't think of anything that's going to help us win. That's a great card from them. They can find another Noble Hierarch. They basically win. They probably have like 8 Hierarchs in their deck. There's nothing we could do because then, Keen Eye Curator, that's really strong. That'll be a lethal threat next turn, probably. Yeah, man. Sylvan Safekeeper again showing up and just owning us because I definitely could have plowed and attacked and done a lot of stuff. They're not casting it. Interesting. Maybe they'll cast it post-combat. Yep, and I don't have a choice. I have to discard here. Let's go to block. Boom. Now we'll discard. All right, we're big enough to not die. There's a 5/6, yep. So we bounce off each other. I can come in, but it's not enough. Like I'm 1 damage away. A Bowmasters would not be enough, but it would be good. There's the Keen Eye. It can definitely get enough types exiled next turn to do trample. I'm not going to be able to fly because they can just exile cards from my graveyard. This is going to be 7/7. Yep, there's 1 card. There's 2 cards. Yeah, they have double lethal attackers next turn. Well, actually, this isn't lethal if they attack with both. But there's no way that I can get this big enough because there's no positive cards in my deck that just instantly draw a card. The only way I have to go up cards is connecting with Psychic Frog or flipping, Tamiyo clues. Okay. They still have mana. I mean, they can make it a 7/7 immediately. Yeah, there it goes. I think it's 7/7. Yep. Trample. All right, so there's no hope. I'm going to see what we're going to draw, though. Probably a removal spell that we can't use. This thing just completely soloed us. Like, imagine I plow here and I can just end that. Yeah. Sylvan Safekeeper, very strong card. I'll see you in round 3. Welcome back. This seems like a solid hand against a likely red deck player. I like the fact that we have Psychic Frog. They could definitely just Blood Moon us turn 1. Murktide's a good finisher. I don't think we mull aggressively for a force in the blind because they could just be on like goblins So I looked at their history. They were playing goblins, but they were also playing mono red prison painter, stuff like that. They've got a lot of experience over the years. 2011, they've been playing for 13 years in the client. I've been playing for perspective, I think like 6 or 7 months that I've been on MTGO. So they've probably seen some things. Also, you'll note that my clock is a lot lower. I had to go do something in between rounds. So hopefully that doesn't come up. But if we go to time because of that, I apologize in advance. They've got this very menacing looking rat avatar. I just use this one because like the default one because I want people to think I'm like a newbie and that they can, maybe relax their defenses a little bit. Any little angle I can get, right? Any little edge. Our opponent fetched a forest and played Delighted Halfling, so I think they're probably on Nadu. Unfortunately, I'm very ill-equipped to be able to deal with that. I don't have any counterplay against like a turn 2 Nadu. Like I'm just completely dead to it. Force isn't going to do anything here. There's no way that I can brainstorm into removal. I think I'm just going to do like the objectively like highest value thing and just play a Tamiyo and pass. I'm not going to freak out. Maybe they don't have it. Even if they have Nadu, they can't both Nadu and play a let's see, what is this? Teferi would be scary too. Okay, yeah, Teferi. We can Bowmaster Teferi and then just hope that that's all they have. They'll probably minus on Tamiyo. Wow, they plussed. They are a combo gamer for sure. Like, I don't know. Like, I would never be able to pass up the value there. So borrowing Teferi out of play does it work? Any non-land permanent? Yeah. We could technically borrow it out. Force them to replay last turn. I kind of like that. I also like not showing them anything. Yeah, let's just try this. I mean, I think that's better than playing Bowmaster because Bowmaster just doesn't do anything. And this way, if they do like, oh, well, this time I'm going to cash in, then we do have the Bowmasters for it. So we'll just get our clue and we'll pass. They could bounce the clue as well. That's tempting target because we can't just redeploy it. It's gone forever. So I think likely what will happen is we can brainstorm and then we can fetch and then we can Bowmaster the Teferi. Like, I'm not a betting man, but I do think it's... Oh no, they have the white. They just Nadu. Okay, Teferi. That's never been more relieved to see a Teferi on the stack. Okay, and they are actually being very disciplined and plussing here. Yep, I can't do anything about that. Okay, so I think it's highly likely they have the combo. I'm trying to think. There's no other card in my deck that can get rid of Teferi, but getting rid of Delighted Halfling actually doesn't even matter anymore. I do think I am going to go ahead and brainstorm first, though, because I don't care for this Murktide at all. They're playing exile-based removal. Daze is also terrible. I think we just put these two back. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and... I mean, if I play out Psychic Frog, there's a very good chance they just bounce it. I'm okay showing my colors. Yeah, I think the play is to just Bowmasters, and then that makes it so they cannot pain-free bounce stuff anymore. They'll lose their Teferi. Unless they bounce specifically Bowmasters itself. Yeah. Not super happy with where we are right now, but they haven't Nadu'd yet. Yeah, being the operative word. They have so much mana. This Wasteland is going to be pretty terrible. But it is better than a Daze when they don't have... I mean, Daze would have been atrocious. Yeah, so they did successfully bounce it back to hand, and if they can counter on the way back down... Okay, another Delighted Halfling. They have so much mana. Mismatched Halflings tilting me too. This is the good art, by the way. I love this art. This is so cool. This is just like, Does that look like a 1-2 to you? Does that look like she has twice the toughness of a human? Okay, Brainstorm. I mean, granted, these people don't look... But, like, at least they're having a good time, right? Like, this one looks delighted. Like, she got her toilet paper. I don't know what that is. He's having such a good time. He's just sloshing his drink everywhere, just laughing uncontrollably while he has like beautiful looking wedding cake thing with strawberries all over it. Man, And it's just another happy person. You can barely see, you can see their eyes, but the eyes up here, I guess I can't move my mouse up there, but the eyes of that woman behind, they just look so delighted, so happy. And this, she's like totally into this guy. She's just like, yeah, this is the best friend ever. All right. And Nadu is coming down and the game's over. Like, sure. I will still, Bowmaster to Fairy. There is the chance that we could draw a plow. I think gosh, what do we do here? So if we prismatic end, then like, that's just that. Like, I think it's better. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and ping, and hopefully they don't have anything to interact. And I'm just going to get Teferi off the table. That won't trigger Nadu because this is a Planeswalker. I feel like they definitely would have just cast. Did they have the mana to cast it? They yeah. And now I'm just going to play a Psychic Frog. Next turn, I will attempt to end the Nadu. If there is a next turn, like they just start drawing cards, nothing's going to happen. And by drawing cards, I mean flipping cards, because Nadu doesn't draw cards. Just yet another broken thing about Nadu. The fact that you get insane value and it's not even drawing a card. All right, we're done. Yeah, we're not going to let them draw 16 cards, and there's no hope. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Nadu is on the list, like Punishing Waterfalls and Bosch and Roll, and I think Pokemoki. Like several people have come out and said they want Nadu likely banned. That he's on the list. So it's not just me. I'm not like Chicken Little saying the sky is falling. I do think they likely have Green Sun Zenith in their deck. So I think that is worth bringing in. It's so frustrating that Orcish Bowmasters does nothing against their deck, basically. It hits the... yeah, I am going to bring these in, though. Okay. Cards that are bad. I think Daze is bad. Even on the play, they just had so much mana. And the uncounterability and everything, like, it definitely makes me think that Daze is not good here. And Force is probably not good either. Maybe we just one Force. Borrower was okay there. In general, though, borrowing like, a Delighted Halfling back to hand is not like a powerful play. They don't have any constructs or anything. I think we could cut that and probably bring the Force back in. And if we're bringing Force in, maybe we do want to have Daze. So my reasoning here is there will be situations where we can Daze stuff. And going down in cards, if this game goes a little bit long, I don't think we need all three cages. I think I'm going to bring in a Bowmasters. I also think they're likely bringing in Carpet. So I'm going to bring in a Plains, and I can cut another land. What do I want to cut? I think I'll cut a Underground Sea. Is that right? I think I'll cut that, yeah. Because I want to be able to have access to an untapped white source off of deltas. Oh, wait. So I have one more card I can bring in. I think it's probably... Yeah, I think I'll bring in the Force. All right. So if I get mana screwed, I mean, like, blue-black tempo goes 19 land all the time, and it's no big deal. I think we're safe going down to 19 land against the deck that doesn't have any mana disruption. This hand... I actually don't think this hand is bad. We just go Tundra, and then we Tamiyo, and then we've got Daze for Daze. And importantly, we have two disruption cards. So Tamiyo, like, we won't necessarily draw another land, but we won't necessarily need to draw land if we're dazing stuff every turn. They are on 7. This is a bad matchup, in my humble opinion. Let's grab the Tundra. Yeah, Tamiyo will stack some clues. She's not going to do anything but stack clues while we're time walking, essentially with Daze. Dryad Arbor. That is a Bolt the Bird. I do think it's right to plow. We can't end, unfortunately. All right, our opponent is letting us attack after about a minute of not passing priority. Yeah, and I am going to just go after this. We can always ponder for a land next turn if we don't have anything going on. Another one. Okay. I don't know that I've seen a Nadu deck that plays 2 of those. All right, let's go find a land. Okay, that's pretty ugly. I think we just any order shuffle here. I don't want to draw those Murktides. All right, we're just going to go in. We have Daze up, and they have Green Sun for something that hopefully we'll be able to stop. Halfling. We can end it next turn. It's not the end of the world, but it will be ended. The delighted halfling. She has no idea that she's about to be pushed through a giant stained glass window while she has to wear an Oculus Rift. This could be a plow, which will definitely get dazed. No thanks. We want our Tamiyo to stick around so we can continue to call her by her God-given Japanese name. All right. Bitey bye. I will eventually find land, and you will eventually be sad. But today, it is I who is sad, because I have a whole bunch of clues that I may never be able to cash in. Wow. That's what we call value. Unfortunately, this does mean that we're not going to be able to do anything next turn. So they pitched a Ponder there. They must be really hard up for mana. Are they thinking about forcing? Okay, we got her. Let's go to attacks, and we'll pass. I don't like passing without Daze up. I want to have my Daze protection here. But we already used our Daze for the turn cycle, and our deck has decided not to give us land. Now, I wouldn't mind drawing a land and then Murktide so I can just close the game quickly. Ponder. This reduces the likelihood that they're going to do something explosive and increases the likelihood that we're going to at least be able to Daze their next play. This has been a very weird game, to say the least. We only have 19 lands in our deck, but I don't feel like we should be punished this much for going down a land. Oh no, what is this? Is this Green Suns for like, you know, some pro creature? If I see another Sylvan Safekeeper, I'm going to be very, very sad. Oh, they're passing. Well, that is good news for me. And by the way, if you want to plow my Tamiyo, I'm okay with it now. I probably shouldn't have. Oh, yeah. Land, baby. I'm just going to show them what we already have. I'm going to attack. Mountain Dews, baby. I don't know if you ever like that Sean White interview. I just love the way he says it. Mountain Dews, baby. He's like I think he's like 18 years old or 17 years old. The legal drinking age in America is 21. And he's like, oh yeah, I love drinking. And then like the reporter's like, wait, aren't you under 21? Oh no. Yeah, this sucks very much for us, but we're just going to let it happen. Okay, and you unnecessarily, like, there's no reason to give me a Daze here. There is absolutely no reason to give me a Daze, but I'm going to take it because I do not like this going and getting Sylvan Safekeeper. Like, it really sucks. Maybe we draw a fetch land. Maybe we draw a Prismatic Ending. There are lots of things we can draw here. They're not going to have access to their land because of the way they sequenced that. That was very greedy. They could have totally just gotten mana and played around that. All right. Well, unfortunately, I think we just have to play it out. They know about it. I'm not going to just chill. They're down to 2 cards in hand. Even if they have Nadu, they have to have Nadu plus other guy, or they have to have another Green Sun. This has been a very weird game, and I feel like randomness has not been kind. I do feel like this was a keep based on everything that's transpired. I mean, look at all the stuff we've stopped. I'm not sure that that dazing plow was correct. I think that's the one questionable play, but we wouldn't have done anything with that land anyway because we would have had a Daze eventually and it would have been back in our hand. Okay, Nadu's out, but the way they tap makes me think they don't have the other thing. There's a Brainstorm. I would love to see one of those. You know, in 14 cards I looked at, I'm due for one next turn because that'll be 15, and everybody knows that like that's how managers distributions work. Okay, so I think here's what we do. I think we just hope that they're Brainstorm locked and that they don't have the answer, and we just put a giant Murktide on the table. They've already used one plow. Giant Murktide over the course of 3 turns does answer. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I feel like this is our only way to win this game. maybe this is overly, yeah, and we'll keep the plow. It's more flexible. But I feel like being able to connect 3 times with Murktide is higher likelihood than us pondering into... I mean, we could have pondered into a plow. There's no reason to attack with Tamiyo here. I'll just hold her back. Yeah, maybe this was a misplay. Maybe we should have pondered and then... but it definitely feels hopeless from this side of the table. They've got so much mana. They've already got Nadu on the table. They can't green sun for it, though. They have to actually find it. Teferi answers this. So this is green. Blue, green. What is this? This is another green sun. What are they going to get at 2? They get the graveyard dude. Oh, Bristly Bill. If they have a land drop, we're pretty screwed here. They're going to start Naduing. Don't have a land drop. They don't have a land drop. Okay, so now I'm definitely going to start trying to find a plow here. They started to pay mana, which makes me... I'm not sure what they have. Another Murktide is not the worst. I'm trying... Like, if I frog, then I can discard and give Murktide a ton of power. Let's see. I could make Murktide 10-10 and kill in 2 turns instead of 1. Is that better? I mean, all they have to do is hit a land, but if they hit a land... what do we do here? What do we do? If they don't hit a land for some reason, they've already brainstormed. I think their top card is known. If it were a land, they wouldn't have drawn the way they did. Let's see. What did they do last turn? Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and frog. And I am going to discard the ponder. I don't think they're going to block. That would be crazy for them to throw away the life of their young Nadu over such a frivolous thing as staying alive. Okay, and now I'm going to give it flight. I can give it flight again next turn if I need to. Just going to maximize the damage we're doing here. Again, I don't think it's likely to matter. I think we're totally cooked, but there is a world in which they whiff one more turn and then they have to chump because we were doing so much damage to them. Only creature they have that can chump is a Nadu. Oh, they green sun, so their top is unknown, and it could very well be a land. They're not going to be able to bulk up Nadu enough. They did put green in their pool. They may just be doing that so they don't have to deal with the trigger again. Next turn, I do have flip Tamiyo, even if they chump. It'll be a force block on the Murktide, so my Tamiyo and my frog should get through. Tamiyo flips. We don't have anything in the yard to bring back. There's a halfling. I don't care about that. They're not going to aggro me out. Currently, they have 0 ways to trigger Nadu. They have a lot of creatures. I feel like we've been supremely lucky if they're actually passing. We've dodged Plow. They plowed once. We've dodged Green Sun Zenith. We've dodged them drawing the actual Nomad. Whoa, we won. We won. They scooped. They didn't even want to wait. Like, they could have definitely just chumped with Nadu and waited a turn. We would have a huge advantage, of course, if they did that, but wow. Wow. Okay, so Daze is definitely coming out. I don't think Daze is good at all on the draw. I expect them to have just tons of action. I think Barber's still not good. Forces come in. I think Cage number 3 could come in. Like, how good would it have been? Because the thing that you note is, like, yeah, technically they only have 4 cards in their deck that they search with, but the Green Suns keeps getting shuffled in, so it's like, you know. Oh, and I'm glad I brought in Plains too, just in case. I figured they'd have Carpet, and they did. I think we just run it like this. Like, it definitely hurt not drawing that land, but I think that was variance. Like, with 19 lands, we should see more lands than we did. Taking 1 land out of your deck does not mean you're going to be completely mana screwed forever. That was just variance. So just resist the result-oriented thinking. The people screaming at me, of course you're mana screwed. You took out a land. Like, I just want to emphasize, 19 land is a pretty respectable here. Well, I don't really have time to do the hybrid geometric. I'll do it after the match, and I'll show you the probability. Okay, so this is a mulligan, of course. This is a keep. I think we're going to put back the Wasteland and just completely avoid wasting them because like it just doesn't matter, frankly. It was good the first game. It wasn't terrible, but eventually they just had all the mana they needed anyway, and stymieing their growth doesn't matter if we can't close, and we can't close. This is a slow start hand. This is going to be a long, slow burn unless they just combo our face off. All right, fetching. Probably getting for a ponder or maybe a halfling. I will be playing out the plains and plowing. Oh, so if it's not halfling, I'm going to just play out the strand, and I'm going to go ahead and get Underground Sea and Tamiyo. I do want to get that train rolling. The other alternative is I could wait, and then if they plow my Tamiyo, then I have the brainstorm. That is actually fine. I'm okay with doing that, but I have to find a second land. I don't want to force to protect Tamiyo. So yeah, I think I'm going to surveil first. I'll get the Undercity Sewer. So the cards we're going to force are really just like probably Green Sun Zenith will be forced. Not going to force that, of course. Okay, they're going to break their brainstorm. If they do halfling, I will have to plow it, unfortunately. And that looks like that's what they're doing here. Oh, they're green sunning for a 0. This is fine. I'm not going to stop this. So they've got a Dryad Arbor. Again, we don't care about their mana. We care about Delighted Halfling precisely because it's of its own counter ability, not because we care about the actual mana. So I'm going to get the Undercity Sewer here, and I'd really like to find another blue source. Perfect. I'll keep it. Now we have Tamiyo and the ability to brainstorm, and I'm not going to brainstorm unless they plow. I'll just keep it up. They do now represent plow. I'm very excited to force this to Fairy if that's what they're dropping here, or Nadu. Looks like they are going to be dropping a 2 or 3 drop here though. I think it's highly likely with the way that they've tapped that they do have it. This can't bounce Planeswalkers, notably. So what I'm going to do is, if this resolves, I will go ahead and brainstorm. But I feel like even if they veil this, I mean, it's catastrophic for sure. But what can we do? We have to hope that they don't have it. Oh, they didn't have it. They didn't have it. That's so good for us. Okay, I was like just confident. I was like so sure that they had it. I do think Bowmaster is good here. Just for denying the mana. I think it's worth it. We could, of course, hold Bowmaster for... let's see. Is there anything they can play at instant speed? Is there any reason to wait? Because I think that they might like Brainstorm or something. Let's think about this. I think we just go ahead and Bowmaster now. Because if we wait till upkeep... Yeah, I think it's fine to wait till upkeep. And then we'll see if they try to do something in step. Then like if they do like an in-step brainstorm, which is, you should never do that, by the way. But if they do it for some reason, okay, now I'm going to go ahead, and this will force them to use blue mana. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit this. I don't think they have any instances. They may have endurance or something like that they can cast. I'm not too worried about it. I'll go ahead and remove this upkeep stop. They are forcing this by all means. I'm just going to take out your Dryad Arbor. All right, now they're using a bunch of mana. This is a green sun for a likely Nadu. We can't stop this. We'll let it happen, and then I'll plow next turn. Please don't go land. Oh, they can't go land Nomad because they've only got one card in hand. All right. So I am going to go ahead and just plow first. Then I can attack with more confidence because I don't want it to unnecessarily blow my brainstorm here. But we are going to attempt to remove this. So they get the trigger. Force of Will revealed. That's not good. Oh, but it's gone. Thank goodness. All right. I'm going to attack. I do think at this point it's worth flipping her. They are not going to be able to brainstorm in response. Or I'm sorry, plow in response. So I'll plus her, and I think I just get this Meticulous Archive on the table. I actually want to keep all these cards, but I want to continue to advance my game plan. Yeah, I'll just play it out. Next turn, I can potentially ponder away that Brainstorm if I don't want it. Plus, let's pass. We've got lots of clues. We just have to hope that they don't... now that they have a Brainstorm, it is scary. There's the Nomad. Do they have a second Nadu? If they have a second Nadu, the game is sadly over. I don't want to minus to get a plow, even though I do think it is totally fine to do that. And my reasoning is that then they'd just be able to attack our Tamiyo and remove her. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find a plow with this. Or a Prismatic Ending. Hopefully they force this or something. Like, they're waiting, so maybe they force. That'd be crazy, but that would be totally chill with me. Force of Negation. I mean, that's a 1-for-1. I can't make fun of that. I could draw, like, I don't have any Dazes in my deck. I don't think there's anything to draw here. I'm okay with that being exiled. I think I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm just to see what I find. I do have Clue activation if I need it. Murktide. Unfortunately, the way I tapped, I had no option to tap otherwise. We have Clue that can draw the Brainstorm, and we can force if they Nadu. So I'm going to do that. And then we'll Murktide the following turn. I'm just going to plus. Yep. So we may be able to get to Tamiyo Ultimate here. I will also force to protect Tamiyo if they Tamiyo, sorry, Japanese plane. I'm not going to stop this. I was going to say I'll also force to protect Tamiyo from like Prismatic Ending. Sure. Your attack is utterly ineffectual. So they do have Hardcast Force mana up next turn. That's something to note. I think we live in a world where they just can't stop us. Plus, I am going to play the Murktide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess. I don't think they have a way to reanimate our Bowmaster, but I don't want to find out. All right. Next turn, we're going to draw our deck, assuming that they don't draw a Nadu right now. And even if they draw a Nadu right now, we're going to draw our deck. That plow is not worth stopping. I'm about to draw my deck. I'll just gain a bunch of life. Your hand is plow, or your hand is force. We're going to have a lot of answers to a Nadu. I'll just play a frog out. They will be able to kill Tamiyo after this, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm going to go ahead and minus here. Okay, so options. First, I think we do have fetchable land in our deck. I'm going to fetch. Wait, I could just waste the Dryad Arbor. So I do want to do this. I want to get rid of the Halfling for sure. She represents uncounterable Nadu. How many? We could definitely Thoughtseize to get the force out of their hand. I don't think that hurts. Now we can counter Nadu and we can attack for lethal next turn with the frog, I think, if we just go get an Underground Sea, which I do believe we have one left in our deck. No, I'll just play this out. I'm not going to mess around. Black, blue, frog. I don't need to worry about Nadu because I have it covered with force and I also have a plow for the Nomad. I'm just going to pass. 3 minutes on the clock, just in case they're the kind of person that like makes me tap everything. If they double attack to try to kill Tamiyo, I'll just block. Okay. I am just going to end step plow this. I just don't want to deal with it later. I've got 21 cards in hand. They've got 20. I'm going to draw another card. So now I'm going to discard everything but force blue card, and we should be able to win. Exile. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go to attack. And we're just going to click a whole bunch of times and discard our hand. Discard. 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 They're going to make us do it. I'm going to do it. I know there's nothing you can do. Unless you have like sudden shock or something like, well, sudden shock wouldn't work. Sudden edict. And like, no, I can't think of a single thing that would work here. Putting endurance in, but I just force it. Yeah, I mean, it's totally, nobody owes you a concession. But like, they have to know that I likely have force blue card. Like the odds of me not having force blue card, like I had force blue card before I even, ultimated. And just to be conservative, just in case there's some sort of like outlying thing that I haven't thought of. Is that 20? 18? 19? And then I'm just going to go ahead and cast this for the 20th damage, just to leave some material on the board, just in case, heaven forbid, they do have some sort of like way that I haven't thought of. All right, game is over, but it doesn't have to be over. You don't have to concede. I do have the ability to draw a card, like if for some reason they gain life. Yeah, game over. We did it. We beat a very recalcitrant player of the Nadu deck, Bant Nadu. I think it's a good deck. I think it's really strong. I don't like Nadu as a card, but I'm going to quit complaining about it because nobody wants to hear me complain about cards and the R&D and research that went into developing them. So, but I do want to go ahead and show you the probability of drawing lands when you have 19 lands in your deck versus 20, just to show you that it's not that different. So the odds of getting a land when you have 19 lands in your deck, 94%. So you're going to get no landers 1 out of every 20 hands, basically, which is in line. I mean, you saw I got a no lander last round. If you go up to 20, 95. So it's an improvement of like, I think 4% or something like that. Yeah, 19 versus 20. And you may be thinking, okay, but that's just like 1 land. What about 2 lands? Well, it does increase the likelihood of 2 lands. And let's go ahead and crank this up to 8 for both of these, because realistically, that's what you care about is like, are you going to be able to hit your land on your second turn? And you're probably going to hit it 80% of the time almost, versus 20, you're going to hit it like maybe like 82%. Yeah, 82.4. So that, I mean, it is significant. It's not insignificant. However, if you're not getting wasted, you're probably okay. I mean, this is a Daze deck that is not necessarily... and you saw game 2, which we won miraculously. I didn't expect to win against the Nadu deck. We were able to just daze a whole bunch and wait around until we found a land, because we had a 3 days, 1 land hand. And we were also able to potentially surveil if we wanted to, but I didn't surveil because I didn't want to be bouncing surveilling back to my hand every turn. I mean, I guess in practice I could have, because I wasn't doing anything with the mana. I was just sitting there. But like, it feels pretty bad to bounce the surveil in. But anyway, I think it's totally fine. A lot of people are like I had somebody yesterday, a fan of the channel whom I was playing, ask like, how do you not get flooded when you're playing 20 land? The answer is you do kind of want to get flooded a little bit, because your opponents are likely playing Wasteland and you're playing Wasteland. So your Wastelands are kind of like spells. If you remove the Wastelands from the equation, you're only drawing 2 lands that are non-Wastelands, like slightly more than a third of the time. So you are going to likely, like, that means you're probably not casting Frog on schedule. And if you go down to 15, this is what the blue-black tempo, it's like 65%. So less than a third. So that they can get away with that because they're probably playing Nethergoyf and other things to do early on. We don't have that luxury. Murktide effectively costs 2 mana. Frog costs 2 mana. Brazen Borrower, a lot of our interaction, Prismatic Ending is often a 2-drop or even a 3-drop. Like, we do want the extra mana. And yes, we are treating those Wastelands as spells rather than cards. And we are nearly 70%. 69. Nice. We're going to try our best to just have good mana. And I think the way that we do that is with 20 lands. All right, back to the league. We are 2-1, and we're going into round 4. Welcome back for round 4. We are 2-1. We are up against a likely Death and Taxes player. They do have Yorion in their deck, so I'm going to assume that they are Death and Taxes. Just a quick note on last round. I definitely could have just waited. This is not a good hand against them. I'm going to mulligan this. I could have just waited until after blocks were declared. I don't think there was really any reason for me to dump the cards at attack step before block, because after block, then they wouldn't have been able to endurance me. It didn't matter, but it was still kind of like a bad habit to start dumping cards before we're in like the damage step. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back... I'm going to put back an island. You can occasionally mana screw Death and Taxes. I'm going to wish some luck, and we are going to open with a Thoughtseize. And we're going to hope to frog. What I'm going to try to clear is removal. Or cards that prevent card draw. Okay, so they have double plow. I mean, there's not really... Like, their hand is pretty passive. We could hit the shadowy backstreet. We could go after the mana. I don't think that that's a winning plan, though. I feel like that's like super weak. Yeah, technically they have a third land. I think we just ignore mana. We ignore the Cauldron and we start going after removal spells. If nothing else, we could waste to buy a turn next turn, but they don't have waste in hand. Yeah, so I'm going to remove that since that's still technically in exile, and I'll remove one of the plows. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Our hand lined up very poorly against theirs. They do have plenty of white sources, so it's not like I'm going to be able to screw them off white. Yep, there's the Vial. Nothing I can do about that. And like that does unlock a lot of their later game plays, but I think if we get to later game, we're screwed. Like this deck just cannot beat Death and Taxes. Oh, that's an atrocious draw. I'm just going to get it out there. I mean, we're not doing anything else with our mana. See if we can find a cantrip. Daze is terrible. We dodged the bullet. All right, I'm not going to play a frog out when they have a plow. I need to clear that somehow. If I rip another, and they know it. They know I have something big that I'm protecting when you go after a plow as opposed to like Vial. Vial is a really strong card. I have a profound amount of respect for it, but like I'm just going to hope that they draw all gas and or like all I guess mana sources and no action. I'm gonna hope to hit a brainstorm so I can shuffle back this Wasteland. I don't imagine Wasteland being relevant in this matchup. Not in this game for sure. Okay, and that is perfect. And we're able to do it before they can get the this whatever it's called into play. So options. Well, first of all, we're definitely putting this back. I think we put this back too. We can fetch it later if we want to. I think what I'm going to do here is I am going to break. I'm going to shuffle this ponder, or I'm going to shuffle my deck. I'm just looking for a Thoughtseize, really. I'll get my blue-white, and that is a great card to discard. We now do have Murktide next turn. I think I am going to go ahead and ponder now just because they could play that card that what was called Spirit of the Labyrinth. We don't want that. Now we can overload their threats. Force does technically counter Plow, but it's just so weak. Tamiyo is pretty bad against their deck. I think I'm just going to shuffle this. And what we're going to do is they're going to be able to plow one of our threats. Maybe they won't be able to plow another. We got a Tamiyo anyway. Next turn, I think we probably play out Frog, and like a lot of the games that I win against this deck are games that I win because I Murktide. Like a lot of times they just don't have enough removal for Murktide. So we could potentially Tamiyo and Murktide next turn. A single Caracas makes Tamiyo inviable. Tamiyo is pretty bad against this deck because a lot of them play like 4 Caracas. Croci, however it's pronounced in plurals. It's a Latin word. Vial is up to Scary Town. They could get a Cauldron out. This is like, I wouldn't say it's the nightmare matchup, but it's a horrible matchup. Like it is an atrocious matchup for our deck and for any like kind of tempo deck. Like this deck, the reason this deck exists is to farm tempo decks. Okay, now we do have, okay, so options. I think we could go ahead and play out a Tamiyo. And we could brainstorm to tease the Plow out of their hand. I am worried about Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think if they activate this, I just brainstorm And that'll force them to... And I think I'm going to play out Psychic Frog. This may seem like a crazy play, but I mean, we're kind of in crazy territory here. Like, Murktide is way stronger than Psychic Frog in terms of its ability to just quickly end the game. So I do want a Murktide next turn. I'm just going to see if they want to plow. Instead, if they plow, I can brainstorm, they can put in the thing, and then we can go to the next game. If they activate this vial, I will just brainstorm in response. That is fine. I'm sad, but that happens. Okay, they didn't do anything with the vial. It's worth noting that not only is Tamiyo terrible against their deck because of Crocus, it's also terrible against their deck because they can just reset it with Flicker Wisp. I think we let this happen. If this is... okay, Recruiter. Recruiter on the stack. I'm just going to see what they get. A Solitude would be scary. They're practically 2 Hardcast Solitude mana. Gosh, this is such an atrocious matchup. I don't even have faith that we're going to be able to win off of Murktide. Like, our Murktide will be big. It'll be... Like, if we brainstorm before we go to the next turn, which we shouldn't do. We should brainstorm next turn after we have gotten a clue off Tamiyo. So they did grab Spirit. They put Spirit on the stack. I'm just going to brainstorm now. I just have to get this out of my hand. Double Plow is good. All right, so I don't want this Tamiyo at all. I'll just draw the Plow. Okay, so we've got a flip Tamiyo, which they cannot attack this turn, but next turn they can. All right. Now this is where we hope that they don't Yorion us. Because if they Yorion, they can just flicker Recruiter, and it's super bad for us. I do think we go ahead and play out Murktide and just, hide the fact that we have double Plow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue. This way we do have like an out to Flicker Wisp, for example. We can even plow a third time with Tamiyo, which is probably the best she's going to get, realistically. So if they just attempt to flicker Recruiter or put another Recruiter in and go get... let's see whether they tick up. Okay, they're not ticking up. That tells me they likely have like a Flicker Wisp, so we have to time this right. I used to play this deck, and I love it, but it just dies a combo so hard. But it is like the Apex Predator when it... like and Esper Vial is kind of like the compromise where you can still have the Force of Will, but you can have the power of Vial. But I don't think I can ever go back to playing just straight Vial after just getting completely savaged by like 8 cast over and over. Oops. The Epic Storm, like basically any combo deck can just completely destroy you in the turns that you're trying to set up your powerful end game. The fact that they didn't, I do think that they probably have a Flicker Wisp. And Flicker Wisp is going to hit Murktide. There's nothing I can do about that. But I can make it so that they can't get like a free kind of like dodge on my removal. Okay, they're shocking that out. So now we're on basically a 2-turn clock. Not really, because they don't do any damage to themselves. I think we just have to let this happen. And if this is a Flicker Wisp, that sucks. It's another Recruiter. There's nothing I can do about this. They're going to go get a Solitude. I didn't think that they would have a second Recruiter because the odds are not high that they will have that in 80 cards, but they will occasionally. I'm not like blaming variants. They got a Flicker Wisp. Sadly, this Flicker Wisp is going to resolve. And then I'm just going to plow whatever it targets, unless it targets my Murktide, which is probably what it's going to target. That's fine. Put the trigger on the stack. You're going to shrink my Murktide. There's nothing I can do about this. That's going to get shrunk. And then I am just going to go ahead and plow it now. So, because of the way they did this, next turn they can get Yorion, but they can't use it. Mother of Runes is a pain in the ass, a total pain in the ass. I think I do have to plow this. They're almost out of gas, but Yorion just like double triggers. And so I think what I'm going to do here is I am going to plow the Mother of Runes. Then I'm going to regrow the card, and then I will have the power, and I can just let Tamiyo die, and I can start beating them down. They have one card in hand. I do think that we plow here just to be efficient with our mana. Then we can regrow. And when we regrow, we are going to grow the Murktide to where it can hit. Yep. But like, she's dead for sure on the backswing. So let's say we plus. We can. Yeah, plussing doesn't get us anywhere. I do think we have to regrow and just start attacking. It's not pretty. I don't think we're going to win. It may actually make sense to play the Tamiyo and just plow the recruiters because the recruiters are going to trigger. I do think we play this out just as a second blocker. And if we plow one of the recruiters, then that does make their Yorion less good, but then they do have Flicker Wisp. There's no reason in the world for them to block. So they're going to, at the very least, have Yorion and Recruiter in play when they start Yorion. So I don't think we have a strategy to win here, but I do think it's worth taking this out. I could pass, but then they could draw another Yorion or another Flicker Wisp. So I do think I'm going to go ahead and just be a total coward and plow this now while they don't have the ability to flicker it. And they're probably scratching their head like, why the hell did he do that? But like, I'm an experienced, Taxes player. I know the play patterns. I know that we're already dead, even though we may not look dead. Once Yorion hits the table, the game is over. Our only hope is to be able to remove that other recruiter so that their Yorion is not very good. This doesn't make a huge difference. They do have a Ghost Quarter. All right, they're going after their own land, getting some mana. That's fine. They're one turn away from Yorion. Yorion is going to be able to flicker that. Still have a card in hand. There's no reason to go after my mana. Is this another Flicker Wisp? They're just putting Yorion in hand. Okay. So we have really one turn to stop the recruiter. And if we can stop that, then we're not totally screwed. They shouldn't attack here. Okay. And one of the reasons why this deck is so powerful is it doesn't even really need to attack. You just assemble the alpha team and you win. And I'm going to concede. Like there's no point in playing it out. Okay. Save myself some time. We are, fairly close in clocks. I could have waited for them to do stuff. So I do think that was a mistake. I should have waited and not conceded there. Okay. So this is, again, like a horrible matchup, but we do have good tools. We've got Bowmasters, which is great. We've got our Prismatic Endings. Seeing that they have White Orchid Phantom means that I definitely think we should get Plains. It's important to note that Cage does nothing here because Recruiter it doesn't put it into play. So it puts it into their hand and then they can cast it. Cards we can cut. I think we can cut a Tundra, most likely, because we've got a Plains here. They do have Ghost Quarter, which is super scary. They could potentially get us off white. Maybe we don't cut the Tundra. Maybe we cut Wasteland. I don't think Wasteland's strong here at all. And then I think we cut some Dazes. Maybe we keep one Daze in to keep them honest. Force is okay. It can potentially defend like a Murktide. If we ever flip Tamiyo and Ultimate her, we'll be very glad that we have Forces still in our deck. I think Borrower's great here because it can, deal with almost all their creatures have ETB triggers and you don't want to be bouncing them, but this can deal with a construct, or not a construct, but a germ token for when they put Cauldron in. The fact that we're all exile means that they're not going to get any real value out of the equipment, the suit, pre-war firmware. I think this is good. I don't think we need to add a land to our deck because a lot of their mana disruption is going to be making us get basics out of our deck. We will run out of basics though if the game goes on long. Let's just not let the game go long. So this is the second really rough matchup that we've queued into today. I mean, Nadu was probably like a 50-50 maybe. And the first matchup against, they were playing some form of, I think it was Stiflenought. I think Stiflenought we're favored. This hand is not acceptable. Cheesing them out doesn't work. We don't have the same inevitability they have. We have to mulligan this, which is sad. This is a great hand. If they just open Caracas, that's really bad for us. But I think we have to try. And I'm not going to fetch my basics. I'm going to fetch non-basics with the intention of them milling us. I think Borrower is the weakest card in the hand. You definitely could argue that Daze is weaker. I mean, we basically boarded out but one of our Dazes. We are on the play, though. Daze is potentially nothing. I think I'm going to keep Daze. This way, if they open... Like, let's say we live in some crazy world where they don't... like, maybe if they attempt to plow her immediately, then we can Daze that. But in all likelihood, they're going to have some combination of plows, solitudes, and probably 4 Caracas. So we really do need to flip her quickly. They bounce her, then I can just play her and flip her, but then they may have solitude to stop that. So maybe I don't Daze... I'm not going to... If they attempt to remove her, I'll Daze her, and I'll Daze it, and then I'm just going to brainstorm after I get my clue next turn. And then I'll have Daze up if they solitude. And then we'll just slow roll this frog. Because just like with last game, we want to make sure the coast is clear if we can find a Thoughtseize before we start jamming frog. Because frog is an investment. Like, yes, we can pull ahead, but they have so many cards that stop us from being able to productively pull ahead. Yeah, that sucks. That is a Caracas. If they don't bounce now, they're crazy. Like, they should definitely bounce now. I do think that I'm going to just brainstorm immediately. Solitude. Well, yeah, you want to 2-for-1 yourself to kill my Tamiyo that can't do anything. I'm here for that. That is totally fine with me. And they exiled a pre-war Formalware, which is not a good card against us. All right. Now I think we do Daze this. This is not a card they can bring back easily. It's not like they already used their pre-war Formalware. Some of these decks play too. I think that was super questionable what they did there. I do think that I would like to get a Surveil trigger here rather than I don't have anything I need to brainstorm back. I'm probably not going to be casting brainstorm immediately. I might even be pitching brainstorm to frog if things move quickly. I am going to get Meticulous Archive though. Ghost Quarter, that's fine. And my hope is that they Ghost Quarter me. I'm totally fine with them Ghost Quartering me here. I won't have white mana, but I will have. I bet if I top here, they are going to Ghost Quarter me. Let's see. This is a great card. Okay, they're not upkeep Ghost Quartering me. All right, and frog is going to be in. So I think this first frog is totally fine. They may be low on mana if they're not cracking their Ghost Quarter. They're down to 4 cards. They didn't have to mulligan. I did. They got an extra card by being on the draw. They don't have damage-based removal. Path. That's fine. I'm just going to go get... put it onto the battlefield tapped. Okay. So I do think we go ahead and grab Island here because I want to... No, do we get planes? They could quarter our planes. We don't actually really need either of these. I'm going to get planes, and maybe they'll Ghost Quarter it and think we don't have another basic, but we do. Did we show the Island last game? I think we might have. Okay, they've got 3 mana. Play something that I can poke, like a Spirit. Okay, that sucks. That really sucks. If they hit our planes, that's pretty bad. Oh, they can't hit planes. Ghost Quarter can, though. Ghost Quarter can hit anything. So this is just hitting that. I'm going to go get... They're going to cut us off white. I'm going to go get an island here. Oh, they're firing it off on our white, and we have nothing to find. No, I'm not going to use it. Okay. Well, that sucks. Like, they're successfully controlling our mana, but they did use a lot of cards to get there. Now I think we just drop the frog. We have a Surveil. We don't actually have any white cards, so it's not that big of a deal. I can jump and block this. That's dangerous. They're shocking that in. 3 mana. Skyclave. We've already used the 1 Daze in our deck. We could get lucky and brainstorm. I think that's pretty unlucky or unlikely. Gosh, this is a pretty pretty bad situation. They're down to 1 card. They're going to take our frog. That's fine. I'm not going to emergency brainstorm here. I am going to get a surveil instead. I'll hold the brainstorm for when we draw a bad card. So far, their mana denial has not been very consequential. I do think that we go ahead and we only have 1 white source left in the... No, I think we have 2 tundras, but I do want to get the surveil here. I think that is a good card to keep around. We already have one. Yeah, I'm going to hope that they attack here and then we're able to ping and trade. Yeah, and I'll just hold up the brainstorm in case they put Spirited Labyrinth on the stack. They got 4 mana up. They're very close to Yorioning us here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go for this. Black, blue. All right, and we're going to ping and we're going to block with the token. And then next turn, we'll just try to do the same thing if they have like a plow for this. We're going to get a spirit of our own and we can start attacking. They can flicker this if they want. They have so much mana. They're like so close to Yorioning. So this is just a creature. It's not an enchantment or anything. I just think like if they flicker wisp this, they can kill enchantments and artifacts, but we don't have any on our deck. Actually, we do. No, we don't have any. We didn't bring in the cages. 3 mana, flicker wisp. Okay, I think they are going to hit this. We are going to be able to poke that next turn, though. They're going to instead go after our mana. That sucks, and there's not a lot we can do about it. We do get a shuffle effect. I think I am going to brainstorm, and then I can shuffle. But, like, what am I shuffling away? Just the worst card on the top of our deck? We get a free shuffle effect. I think I'm going to do this. Holding it is a liability. Okay, Thoughtseize, not helpful at all, so I'm glad we're getting rid of that. Tamiyo is also terrible against their Karakas. We did find another land. So I do feel like that was a good use. Yes. Failed to find. All right. All right. So I think here they do have a blocker. So we can't both. Oh, okay. We can go get white and we can end the this. And then we can attack with both of these. And maybe they trade. I mean, they'd be crazy to trade, frankly. I do think this is a good play. I'm going to go get Tundra. Because like we are facing down the possibility of them doing some really broken stuff later. But currently they're hellbent. Yeah, this will be difficult to remove. So let's get rid of that. I mean, we can cleanly just get rid of this next turn, but I think they're not likely to block. They're winning the race. I'll be very happy if they block, but I don't think they will. Okay, yeah. And I was correct. They didn't block. So that was a good heads up play on my part, if I can compliment myself. Hopefully they draw a land. They draw a plow, a Vexing Bauble. I don't care about that one bit. That is great. All right. And they're actually disincentivized from cracking it. And this does stop them from solituding. 3 mana, putting Yorion into hand. Yep, we knew that was a possibility. All right, so Yorion does like basically block us forever. We do have nothing left in our deck. I do think it's worth playing this out just to deter them from doing stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this. Now we can attack for 3. Next turn we can attack for 5. If they don't find mana for Yorion. If they do want to crack their bauble, they're going to pay a price. So this fetches whatever color they take us off of if they are able to do that. Mother of Runes is fine. I'm just going to attack them with everything and ignore. Unless I draw another Bowmasters, which would be the nut draw. That would be absolutely insane. I think we're going to get rid of Mom. Mom. Now, as long as they don't draw a land, we are tempoing them out. Not by a lot, but by a little. And it's possible that we can just go wide enough that we can kill them even if they get Yorion onto the table. I did not expect to be in a favorable position against their deck. Recruiter is fine. I'm not sure what they get here. I'm trying to think of what they could get that would be good. They might get just a Witch Enchanter so they can Yorion next turn, but that is... They did get Witch Enchanter. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so they are going to be able to Yorion next turn, and search again, but that means that they're not blocking anything. If we can find a Bowmaster, please. Oh, actually, this is fine. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit the Crocus. Is probably the most dangerous land here. I shouldn't have done that because now they know that they can block. I should have waited until after combat damage. But, I mean, they're probably priced into blocking anyway. They're probably just going to trade with the Bowmasters. Yep. Not unexpected. Next turn, they are dead. Assuming they don't draw something like really powerful. They can blow up our land. It doesn't matter. We're still going to be able to hit them for lethal. Okay, they conceded. Wow. Wow, Scoob. That was freaking crazy. That was crazy. They had 7 cards. We had a mulligan. They had the Crocus and then they kind of blew it, like, frankly. No offense, Rift Bolts, if you're watching this, but I think that, you should have just held the Solitude. Like, that is an extremely powerful card in this matchup. Like, there was no reason to just fire it off turn 1 like that, and I think it cost you. Okay, so on the draw, I think Daze is out. I think we probably do actually board in a Wasteland just to stave off the inevitability. It's a 21st land. They're clearly going to be going after our lands. I mean, Daze was good there, but yeah, it's going to be less good on the draw for sure. Consign is not the worst actually against them because you can consign the Yorion trigger and then none of their cards come back, but I feel like that's cute. And we just need to end the game before we get to that stage. I could easily see Consign just sitting in my hand, or worse, being like a 1 for 2 when they like play Stoneforge Mystic and we're like, okay, we'll stop and they're like, okay, cool, whatever. Like I need to be doing things that are proactive and actually dealing them damage. And I think we did a good job of that last game. And let's see if we can do it again. A quick note on Tamiyo. Like, I'm pretty sure in my sideboard guide, I'm like, slide out Tamiyo. She's terrible. 4 Caracas.deck. But, I mean, in that case, she did bait out like the best card in our opponent's deck. I think this hand is pretty bad. I don't like the idea of going and getting ponders pondering and like desperately trying to find land against their mana destruction. But they do play like cards that allow us, like if they Phantom our first land, it's not that big a deal. We can go get another land. I think I'm going to keep it, and I'm just going to hope that one of these ponders gets through. And I'm going to hope that we draw land. Force of Will is really just for stopping Stoneforge Mystic, I think is the most powerful card in their deck. I think we go ahead and Island Ponder here. They may not have interaction. We want to get these out of our deck. These are good cards. These aren't lands. We don't have a black source to cast the Bowmasters. I don't want to draw through all this. I'm going to shuffle. There is an argument for keeping the Plow, but it's too passive. Let's see if we can find a land. All right, Borrower's not great. Borrower will probably get pitched to Force. Unless they play Bauble. Like, Bauble is a pretty good card, but it's not that great. Like, it shuts off 4 of our cards in our deck. It shuts off 4 of their cards. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Orchid. I do think we get rid of this. And my reasoning is, like, it just, like, they may have a Mana Light hand. They were disciplined in playing that around Daze, though. Actually, they must have drawn that. That must be their draw for turn. So I don't think they kept that hand. I don't think they kept the hand on the strength of this. So maybe that was a bad play. Also, we do have Prismatic Ending, which we're going to draw right now. We didn't. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to find a land for Thoughtseizing. Oh my goodness. These are not doing it for me. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle this. Please give me a land. Another Thoughtseize. All right, we're going to play this out. We have Plow up, but we're super duper behind the 8 ball here. Force Pitching Frog is not beyond the pale, but we won't have any action if we do that. That's fine. I don't mind them hitting our land. It doesn't really affect us. I'm definitely not forcing that. Oh, okay. So they're taking up their own land, which they're doing because I denied them the Vial. Otherwise, they wouldn't really even care about their own lands. So they're going to go get another land here, which is pretty good. Yep, they're like very close to Yorioning already. Our Wasteland's not particularly strong here. I don't think it's correct to plow this. There's probably something higher priority that we can plow later. All right, we got it. Finally. Now, the question is, do we go ahead and take a turn off to Thoughtseize them, knowing that they could easily just waste or get rid of our Underground Sea? Or do we jam the frog? I think we jam the frog. And my reasoning is, no, I'm gonna just hope that they don't get rid of our land. If we can get frog out and get it actually hopping and doing damage, yep, and that would have been pretty nasty. So I think, and I do see a Ghost Quarter here. I see a Caracas. Plow is definitely better than Path, because at least Path we get a land. We're going to be taking at least, so they didn't have any other creatures. We'll see what they do here, but I'm pretty sure they're going to go after our lands with Ghost Quarter. Which sucks because we're not going to be able to cast our frog or our Thoughtseize. They could Ghost Quarter our basic. I'm not going to flinch. This plow can do so much more than take this card off the table. Bauble doesn't affect things. Okay. Getting Yorion. They have Yorion mana. Sadly, I think we probably do plow here. Just because now we could take Yorion. I don't want to take more damage to this because I'm about to Thoughtseize him yet again. Let's see what we draw. Strand is good. It's a second Underground Sea. I think I don't want to have to fight Yorion. I think I take him. Yeah, we're going to take Yorion here. And now we just have Path. I think we just have to chill and grab a Surveil land and step. Not feeling favored. But I'm not playing my frog into a known Path to Exile. That doesn't matter at this point. I mean, it may matter later, but... All right. They are choosing yet again not to waste me. I'm going to go get an Under City Sewer in the end step. So that was their draw for turn, and we know that Path is their last card in hand. They're cracking their Bauble in response. That's fine. I'm not sure why. Maybe they have opposition agent in their deck. That would be a reason for doing that. In which case I would just probably concede. That is not a card we're interested in. It sucks to throw that away because I would like to fetch it later, but we need better stuff. Murktide. Okay, so I think what we do here, if we play out the frog is going to get pathed. We're going to get our island. Then we play out the Murktide the following turn. Or we play out Murktide and we force pitch frog and we hope they never draw any interaction. Murktide is lethal over the course of 4 turns here. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this, but I think it is a play that we can make. And I've found historically, like the main way that I beat this deck that we're up against is, so I'm going to pitch everything except for a Ponder. Blue. All right. Yeah, we have to connect 3 times. I'm not hopeful. But this is the play to win. All right. They have Solitudes, they have Plows, they have lots of things. We just have to hope that their lack of card selection prevents them from being able to find those. Solitude is hard castable. We'll just scoop if they Solitude us. Vexing Bauble's fine. They're just going to draw through it. Another land. They can go after our land all they want. I don't care anymore. Yeah, I would definitely get copyright claimed if I put it on Phil Collins' Don't Care. That's a great song, man. Just like put it on in the background. That's basically how I feel. Like I'm all in on this Merc. Drawing a second Merc would be good. I am going to play this out. Actually, I'm going to hold it. Yeah, I'm going to hold it just in case I draw Brainstorm. Because there's a decent chance that if I draw Brainstorm, I won't even care about shuffling stuff away. I'll just need cards immediately. All right. Flicker Wisp does it. Like so many things. There's so many hits in their deck. I have no faith. White Path. All right, we're going to go get the island. I'm not going to concede yet. But like I don't really have any hope here. There's another Wasteland. So they are drawing bricks. They don't have a path to win, but we only have 4 minutes on the clock. That's fine. They are going to run us out of lands eventually. They might Ghost Quarter us too. They have the luxury of time to think about what they want to do, how they want to disassemble us. Johnny 5 reassemble. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. I don't think it's worth hitting this vial. I am going to play this land out. Okay, White Orchid Phantom, hitting that, nothing to be done. Sure, I'll shuffle. I will see that I have nothing left. All right. All right, that is a win con. I can't remove it. They're hellbent right now. I think I'm going to play this out, and I'm just going to remove this. It's mana efficient. We might be very light on mana soon. I don't want them to be able to blink it with Flicker Wisp. Just going to F6. I don't think they're going to waste our... Well, actually, I can't really F6 because if they Ghost Quarter us, I do need to be able to fetch. Actually, I think I'll still get the prompt to do something. That sucks. It's a good card. All right. Let's see what we can draw here. I'm not in Fetch to Thin mode. Maybe I should be. I don't want to be taken off a Vital Land color just because I fetched to Thin like a fool. All right. Now, our one out is drawing another Murktide and then not having a way to answer it. We worked through Yorion. We've worked through everything we can do with their deck. It's just a question of who can draw the big threat first. Even if we draw, they have so much removal on their deck. They're putting in, what is this? Recruiter. I'm going to concede. We're losing this. Good games. I do like this matchup. Like, I like playing against this deck. I like playing against fair decks, but like, it's a slaughter. And I feel very, very lucky to have won game 2. So we're now 2-2 going into the final round. All right. Well, we caught what I consider to be a very favorable matchup for round 3. They are likely on Nadu Elves. This is totally fine. This is not fantastic. If they are on Nadu Elves, we're going to be expecting Allosaurus Shepherd. We're going to like Bowmasters is insane. Green Sun, 4 Green Sun, 4 Cord. Natural Ort not present here, but I think just with these cards, our Graph Digger's Cage is going to be insane. So it's really going to come down to, okay, do we draw the cards we need to draw? Are we able to deny their combo? Are they able to get a Sylvan Safekeeper into play? That's the big thing. This card just solos us. Allosaurus Shepherd, I think this is an R&D mistake. Frankly, I've never liked this card. I've always wished it wasn't in the format. It's too punishing to interaction. But we'll see what we get. I think considering they have like basically no interaction in their deck, I think we just open Tamiyo. Gosh, we have a lot of... we're going to have to shuffle some of these away. But I am confident we can flip Tamiyo. So I'm going to go get Tundra. I'm going to Tamiyo, and then I'm going to hope to shuffle away these Meticulous Archives next turn. They're mulling to 5. I mean, they could be on Oops or something. But this was what they were playing 2 weeks ago. And they're like... Let's see, what else have they played? Yeah, I mean, they're like pretty strong Elves players. Like this is probably Elves from many weeks ago. Yeah, many months ago. 4 cards. Holy cow. I would love to have a positive record. I think luck has definitely been on our side so far this match. Like if we are indeed up against this deck and they're mulling to 4, that feels great to me. Because we have interaction for their mana dorks. And we're going to have Tamiyo taking up. And they're not going to be able to attack in because virtually every creature other than Nadu in their deck is 1 power. If they're on something else, we'll feel foolish. But I don't think it's an embarrassing play in the blind to just drop a Tamiyo. We have plenty of land if they waste us, if they're on some sort of crazy tempo deck. But like, what tempo deck mulls to 4? It's a combo deck. It's just a question of what kind of combo deck. All right, so Tundra, Tamiyo. Let's pass. Look at her just flying around, reading text. Her cape thing looks like a scroll that's unfurled. Super chill art. I love this art. I love on both sides. All right, Petal. Saga. Okay, so this is not going to be what we hoped it would be. But there's the bubble, of course. All right. Yay. Some sort of degenerate deck that uses Urza Saga. Okay. Well, I think finding a, I do think we want to start taking Tamiyo up. Thoughtseize is a great pickup. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and then I'm going to brainstorm. And if I can Thoughtseize the last card of their hand, it might just be like a Echo of Eons or something, and then doesn't matter. Okay, so we're going to do that. And now I'm going to brainstorm, and I do want to get rid of these lands, but like I can use one of these surveillance as a kind of build your own ponder if I need to. It's so sad that they have, they have Vexing Bauble. We're not going to be able to do anything here. I think Tamiyo goes back for sure. Maybe what we do is we put, we are going to want an Undercity here. And I'm going to want to get rid of Tamiyo. So we will have a third land lined up next turn. It'll just be an ETB tap land, assuming that they don't wheel us. They crack the Bauble for some reason. That'll be very auspicious for us. I want to keep the Plow around. So I'm just going to bin the Tamiyo. She flips. We plus. We are going to drop the Undercity Sewer, revealing our Esper nature. We're going to put this in the graveyard. And we're going to say a little prayer because like we're totally screwed here. This is ridiculous. This is outrageous. Okay, another Urza Saga. So it's not impossible to beat a double Urza Saga start. The scariest thing you can do in Legacy is Urza Saga, Ancient Tomb, Urza Saga, right? So at least we have that covered. It is worth noting that there's like no real benefit to us removing this Vexing Bauble if we find a Prismatic Ending somehow. We know we're not going to find it this turn. I mean, we could find it. I think what we do here, I definitely want to plus. Well, let's Thoughtseize first. Let's see, and then we could Thoughtseize a second time if we need to. They don't have a huge construct, but they will have, they'll eventually have a big one. Okay, so this is a Karn Forge deck, I think. Because key doesn't generally get played. So the real question is, okay, do we go after the key or do we go after the pedal or do we go after both? I think what we do is we go after key. Then we plow the first Saga token. They're going to have to sack a pedal if they want to create a Saga token. But the key does the most degenerate stuff later. So we're going to leave them with the pedal. Now, we do need to protect our Tamiyo, and I think they're going to probably try to swing in. So I'll just have the plow ready. I'm going to go ahead and just bank for next turn. Let's see what we have here. Wasteland. You'd love to see it. We already played our land for turn, so we're not going to be doing that. But next turn, I will get rid of the Urza Saga before they can create like a third token and get a third search. They might go for Pithy Needle here. There's the construct. It is super small. Here's the search trigger. They can't create... so I think if we waste here, they're going to be so low on mana. They're not going to be able to create a construct here. So they're floating. Let's see what they get. Opal. Now they can create a construct if they want to. I think the way we win this is we just keep going upstairs with Tamiyo. All right, our opponent is going Grim Monolith, and I am very much vindicated in my choice to get Manifold Key instead of Lotus Petal. Not that it was like a hard choice, but every decision is a decision, right? Okay, and they're using it to create another construct. This is so good for us. They think that they're going to be able to take out Tamiyo, but no. I am going to plow now to reduce the power of it. Yeah, they've got a construct. And they've got one floating. They have a pedal in hand, but they can't attack. So it's worth noting that if they played out the pedal, which they can't play because of Vexing Bauble. Yeah, that was another reason not to take the pedal, because it's basically trapped in their hand. If they crack Bauble, they are fools. Absolute fools. They're like, Bauble is so strong against me. But they have to be thinking about it. I'm about to draw Wasteland, hit their Saga. Then I've got a single construct. I can just dig for removal. Okay. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Okay, the pedal's out. That's fine. All right. I think that was a huge misplay on their part. I don't know exactly what's in their hand, but I know like all but one of the cards in their hand. And they don't know what's in my hand, but like they have to safely assume that I have some counterplay to that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use one of my white sources. I'm going to ponder first. I'm looking for any sort of removal. I found removal. In fact, I found something better than removal. What I can do is I can just play Bowmasters. That will shut off some of their outs, and then I can plow the next turn. Yeah, I think that's correct. Bye-bye land. I will see if I can get them somehow with Bowmasters, but if they just attack in, that's fine. And then I'll remove this next turn. But I want to have Bowmasters on the table in case they have like one ringer or something like that. Not that they would be able to cast it from here. If they draw another Urza Saga, that's bad. And I will just be using the token from this to block. Okay, and they scoop. Clean. Very clean. Pivot. Of course, they mulled the 4, but we just cleanly dismantled their deck. And we were going to ultimate and everything was going to be gravy. So, assuming that they are on just straight up Karnforge, what do we got? Well, Grafdigger's Cage. If they are on some other kind of spell, like some sort of build, and we didn't see any evidence they were on this, but they could be on like a Echo of Eons deck, then Grafdigger's Cage is good against that. Bowmasters is just good generally against them. Consign is good. Prismatic Ending is quite good. And then generally what I do here is I take out... I don't think they're going to mess with our mana. So we can take out the island. Yeah, I can't think of anything they would play that would care about basics. And then Daze is generally pretty bad against them, especially on the draw. And then Plow is really bad. Like Plow hits basically their constructs and their and I did say construct. You see what I did there? I heard somebody call them constructs recently, and I think that makes a lot of sense because yeah, I don't know, because they're Karnforge deck. And then the other card that I think we can cut, Brazen Borrower, is removal effectively. Yeah, I mean we've cut to the bone. There's like really not any good cuts now. I don't like removing Murktide because Murktide can sometimes just sail over. What I was going to say is the only card that the Plow hits that we really care about is Fleshraker, Glaring Fleshraker, and we don't care about it that much that we're willing to do that. So, I mean, we could go down to Force. I think that's a mistake. But they are playing 4 Baubles, and they have 4 Urza Sagas to go get Baubles. Grafdigger's Cage is a redundant effect. Maybe we just play 2 of them. It's not that great. Like, it is great specifically against one of their cards. But it is a very powerful card. It's the deck that the card is... the card that the deck... The card that the deck is named after is Mystic Forge. I think we do this. I like having lots of aggression. Because we're not... Like, the game does not get better for us as time passes. We're just going to hope that they mold a 4 again. Which... Not going to count on. Keep a Force hand. Keep a Consign to Memory hand. Usually they don't blow up turn 1. That can happen. This... I do like Bowmasters a lot against their deck. But we could just completely get run over. I think we keep this, though, because Wasteland is good. And one strategy that works often is wasting their Ancient Tomb when they have Sagas out. So I'm going to waste that with prejudice. Grim Monolith. Okay. Do they have the key? They don't. Okay. So if we waste this tomb, then they're going to basically be chilling there waiting for a key. I think if they have Urza Saga, they probably play that turn differently. And then I can even force whatever comes off of this monolith. I mean, I'll most definitely force a key at this point, sadly. And then we're just going to try to get the Bowmaster population, Bowmasterton. Okay, Urza's Tower. That's only a good card if they have specifically the Nexus, Planar Nexus. But they do have 4 mana, and if they cast really any 4 mana spell, I'll force it. I'm not picky. The One Ring. You don't say. All right. Now we've worked through their fast mana. Again, as long as they don't have a key, this doesn't untap. So I think what we do here is probably just draw a Consign to Memory. Oh, we didn't. I think what I'm going to do is I am going to just plan to Surveil here rather than trying to cast Brainstorm. But I reserve the right to Brainstorm desperately to find a force if they put like something crazy on the stack. It's worth noting that like One Ring, we can race it with Orcish Bowmasters, but we can't race it that early. Like that would effectively be like a turn 0 One Ring because we had nothing out. And it would be so many turns. Okay, there's the Ancient Tomb, but they don't have a play, which is great for us. They may have Kozilek's Command. That would make sense, but they didn't play Planar Nexus, which is a huge relief. So we're going to go get the blue-white one. So we get all our colors. Grafdigger's Cage is worth keeping. We can't play it immediately, but if they play a Mystic Forge, then we can respond with it. They are at the mana where Grafdigger, where that might be in their hand. And I'm just going to hope that they don't play it because I would much rather Bowmaster and get the clock going than just play this out and do nothing. I do have the ability to Brainstorm into a possible Consign if something catastrophic happens. Okay, there's the Planar Nexus. Now they have so much mana. So I think next turn, I'm going to Bowmasters this turn probably. And then next turn, I'm probably going to Brainstorm. Oh, even more mana. Looking for... okay, 3 mana in the pool, 4 mana. Blue mana. I guess they wanted to filter in a blue for some reason. Double blue. Transmute Artifact. This does go get the One Ring. What did they sacrifice? Okay. Transmute Artifact. What did they sacrifice? Did you sacrifice as part of Resolution? I think they're going to get the One Ring. That would make sense. With the amount of mana they have, they're just going to want to draw cards. If they get Mystic Forge, we're totally chilling. Because we'll shut it off next turn. We can't counter this even with Consign. I think we just have to let this go. They did sack the Grim Monolith. They got Jeweled Lotus. Jeweled Lotus! Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. And we're going to see... so they are on Jeweled Lotus. I didn't know they were on Jeweled Lotus. That makes sense, though. Okay, now we're going to hit them. And they're going to be able to draw a bunch of cards. But, like... it's unlikely that we kill them. I'm just going to... I've got plenty of time. I don't want to screw this up if they get something out. I do want to hit this. They can cast this card that basically just hits... like, it creates a copy. It's called... what is it called? But they could use that to hit our Orcish Bowmaster if they want to. So now I'm definitely taking out Grafdigger's Cage. I don't think Grafdigger's Cage is good anymore. And I'll probably bring in Dazes. Because if you look, like they did use every bit of mana they had there. Copy Artifact. Okay, so they're going to draw more cards. Keep in mind, we get all these if we attack. All right, you're losing life. I hope you're getting good cards here. They did get up 1 mana there. But they're going to have to deal with this Orc Army token, even if they can use Phyrexian Metamorph. That's the card. They Metamorph, they can potentially snipe our Bowmaster. The Transmuting, I think they're going to go get another Jeweled Lotus maybe. One Ring would make sense, just to get protection so they don't die next turn. Paradox Engine. Uh-oh. All right, can they win without drawing 9 cards? I imagine they can. Is this another Jeweled Lotus? I so wish I had a turn to deploy these other Bowmasters. 2 Bowmasters would be really strong here. Okay, what does this do? Choose 1. Draw 2 cards. Target creature gets -5, -5. Okay, so they can just get rid of our... they can get rid of our Bowmasters, then they can go off. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. And it should be clear to them that I don't have Force because I would have used it like eons ago. And at this point, I think we can safely F6 and just admire the degeneracy. I can't see how they lose from here, but I will always give my opponent an opportunity to lose. I will just dictate their plays, slow as they are. Metamorph, copying Jewel, drawing 3 more cards, creating another Black Lotus type effect. Tons of mana in the pool. we're at the very least we're seeing more of their deck because I do want to have a positive record. I'm not phoning this last game in. Defense grid. Okay, we're already F6'd. I mean, they have so much mana. I imagine there's a... I'm going to make them show me the win con. There was a famous game. I think it was like Long was the name of the guy. Okay, there's the Emrakul. And they do get another turn, so we can concede. All right. And Long, he was like a Tendrils player. And I don't know his first name, but he was able to just during one of his games, like it was like the finals of some major vintage event or something, he was able to put a Tendrils of Agony underneath a Chrome Box. And that was his only win con in the entire deck. And his opponent didn't notice. And then he just proceeded to like start going off and his opponent scooped, even though there was no actual win con in the deck at that point. I mean, sometimes you can get away with that if people are playing loose. So what did we learn? Well, we learned that Consign is going to be really good. Plow is incredibly dead. These are probably better than nothing. And yeah, I think that's what we learned. I think we're going to try to, like, I like Brazen Borrower. I definitely like Bowmasters. I like Thoughtseize. Like, everything in our deck seems really tight and really good. Could we cut a Murktide so that we have another Daze? I think they have such big mana that doesn't make sense. Could we get mana screwed by only playing 19 lands instead of 20? Yes, we could. Do we want to risk losing because we have to mulligan otherwise great hands? Not particularly. I think I am going to bring in an island here. Yeah, I'm not like super jazzed about that, but we're playing fewer Dazes, so it makes sense to go back up to 20 lands. All right, we're going to try that. Murktide is generally going to be too slow to kill them, but it is nice to have that if we can stall at the board state. It is also tall enough that it can potentially deflect or beat back very powerful constructs if the game goes in that direction. Oh, this is an incredibly reactive hand, but it is an incredibly solid hand. And that was the Halo monk thing. I'm not a Halo fan, but I do remember that iconic opening where they got like the monks to all sing the same tone. If you haven't heard Gregorian chant, I think is what it's called. It's like monks, they don't have any harmony. They all just sing the same thing, the same exact note. So you get this kind of like melody, essentially. But yeah, like this is a nutty hand. We've got plenty of mana. We can just surveil the first few turns and chill. I am very much interested in Prismatic Ending stuff that they put on the stack. They're mulliganing to 5. I will force with Prejudice any 4-drop that comes our way, or a 6-drop if it comes to that. Yeah, I think Prismatic Ending is one of the best cards we can have in the matchup. So I am going to be going and getting the white surveil land here. All right, we're passing. So cards we're looking for, Wasteland obviously would be good. Do you want to dump a bunch of stuff on the table? Vexing Bauble, I am fine with that. I'm going to end that next turn right after I waste you. Right? That's what we're going to get. We're going to find a Wasteland off the top. That would be so powerful. Okay, that was scary. All right. Yeah, like my UI flickered. Yeah, we don't want that. Okay. Consign is a sick rip. I'm going to just hit this bauble. Well, they can't do anything with it. So we have Consign up now for broken stuff they do. I don't think it's correct to consign the trigger here. There is an argument for doing it, but they have so much mana. Like, we do have a Prismatic Ending if they create one, so we can deal with one of them. They have to invest a lot of resources. Okay. Yeah, but what I was saying is, like, you can consign the trigger. Okay, now I'm kind of feeling dumb for not getting rid of that. But if I can find a Wasteland deck. Oh, I don't have another Surveil land because I just surveilled my Surveil land. Yeah, I probably should have consigned there. If we lose to constructs, I'll feel really embarrassed. Okay, I'm going to brainstorm. And we're just going to find insane stuff. Yeah, we found pretty insane stuff. I think we put back this... I do want to be able to deploy a Bowmasters because I can actually ping the construct when it comes down. I mean, this is crazy, but I think we actually put back one of the Force Wheels. Yeah, I mean, that seems nuts, but I think it's correct. These consigns are going to be like better than Force Will. All right, and I'm just going to go get like double dual land, and I'm going to ping this construct. And that we are going shields down for a turn, but it's worth it to get the construct off the table and to get our lock piece on the table. Okay, and there's the construct. It's a 1/1, perfect size for a Bowmaster to take a bite. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely argue that Prismatic Ending could be a second Force here. But like, don't overestimate the power of Force in the matchup. Like, Force has definitely become less powerful with the printing of Vexing Bauble. Take this Tundra, and I'm just going to poke it. Get your poke on. That is a reference to Tim and Eric's skit from the very first season. They sing this musical number. It is very outlandish. All right. Would you like to make another one? They are opting not to, it looks like. So I do think that there's a high likelihood that a Vexing Bauble is coming out, and I'll have to end that. So the fact that they're not creating a construct is a relief. But they have 3 mana floating, and they can do whatever they want. Okay, an island. Grim Monolith. All right, we can't do anything. We can't interact. I stand beside my decision. Stand behind my decision with the Orcish Bowmasters. Regardless of what happens, I think we played correctly. I am glad I shuffled away the Force, though. Metamorph is going to target our Bowmaster, sadly. Yep, that sucks. All right, and now... yeah, that's a very powerful thing their deck can do. 2 mana. What are they doing? I would be all about finding that Wasteland. Any time deck. I do believe this has the mana value of 2, so we can remove it. Drawn Wild. Ponder. They only have 1 card. Okay, so options. 1, we can just hit the Vexing Bauble and chill with like our wall of interaction up. They can't attack in. We can bobble. We can stop the next few things they do. The problem is this Ponder is pretty bad. Well, I think it's fine. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the Bauble and maybe they'll cash it out. But that will involve them tapping their Grim Monolith, which will reduce the amount of mana they have access to. They may be too scared to cash it out. Gosh. The other thing is I could just ignore, because I can't both kill this and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack with the Orc Army and see what they do, because they are lower on life and they use their life total as a resource, whereas I don't really. Okay, and now the main problem is I definitely don't want to be pondering with this Vexing Bauble out. They're unlikely to have 2 things they can do this turn cycle. So I'm kind of like tempted to just end this. Okay, when you may have Phyrexian enter as a copy, except it's an artifact. I don't think it costs 3 mana. I'll be very upset if that is how this works. But I am going to go ahead and get rid of this now. Okay, it worked. Thank goodness. Okay, so now we just have consign up, and we're going to consign whatever foul thing they put on the stack. If we can. That sucks really hard. Gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to consign the ability to make, but I might consign the ability to make constructs. Okay, they didn't even attack. Maybe they're going to hang back. Land would be good. Another Bowmasters is great. I think I attack and then I can Bowmasters them and create a big token if I need to. Okay, I'm just going to do this now. Going to get rid of that. So we're putting them under a lot of pressure. If they crack the bubble, I'll be so happy. They did not crack the bubble, so I'll just do that. Now their dude dies. They take a damage. We have consign. We have force. We can actually force and consign the trigger if we want to. Sadly, I think I'm going to have to consign the Urza Saga trigger, which leaves me completely vulnerable. Because we don't have a plan for dealing with just tons of constructs. So if one of their cards is dead, we're okay. If they're like, oh, well, you activated my trap card, and then they just do crazy stuff. Another one. My goodness. We cannot catch a break. We definitely need to find a Wasteland. I'm going to be pondering for Wasteland next turn. But I feel very vindicated that they're not casting anything here. Okay. So let's go ahead and start by... What do we want to do? Okay, so the maximum looks for a Wasteland is brainstorm first, then ponder, shuffle. No, actually, I think it's the other way around. Because we're going to look at 4 cards potentially here. All right, we found it. And this consign is not a bad find either. All right, feeling pretty good. Now, they can go get like a Mox or something off of that, but I think we have our bases largely covered. They are on a pretty short clock, especially if they crack a bauble here. They can't really tap their tomb. They're going to search. There are lots of scary things that can happen here. They get a manifold key. They have tons of mana. Tons. 1 ring. I think we have to consign this. I'm going to keep a mana up just in case. I don't want them drawing cards with this much mana. I think it's irresponsible even if we have a Bowmaster. They've proven that they can get rid of Bowmaster. Okay, and now we're drawing another consign. I'm feeling pretty favored here. Also, yes, they can use the key, but yeah, I'm going to keep all this stuff up. And I'll just attack. If they crack the Vexing Bauble, that is good for us. They are going to untap a key. They've got so much mana. But like, I'll be really, really pissed off if they can figure out a way to win. Because I feel like I've done everything I possibly can here to stop them. They're going to have one more turn, but they're not going to be able to activate the tomb. They are going to be able... Ooh. Okay, good. I would be really freaked out if they actually shocked that in. All right, Underground Sea. We knew that was a card that was coming. I think we just attack and we hold Underground Sea as a card we can brainstorm back. But I don't want to risk us not finding a blue card. So if for some reason they crack their bauble, then I can do stuff. I think they're really behind the 8 ball. It's going to be hard for them to get out of this, but there might be some way that like I don't know about. Okay, they've got lots of mana. Like they can't cast Jewel. Jewel kills them. 1 ring is going to get consigned. I will replicate the 1 ring, like the consign if necessary. 3 mana. Okay, so they are going to go for something here. Cracking Bauble. That's fine. I will ping you. Now I have like extra duper, super duper lethal on the table. Okay, more mana. Maybe I can't afford to consign. I have no reason to believe that they have force in their hand, in their deck. I will force a, that's fine. I will force if they, I think my cat's doing some weird stuff. Okay. All right. It's a lot of mana. Even if they do Emrakul stuff. Okay, so we can definitely force this. I'm not sure what they're going to have it enter, but probably a copy of Bowmasters, which will produce a chumper. If I brainstorm, there's a high likelihood I find a blue card. If I don't, I have to pitch consign. But I have a dud in hand. And I do think it's worth it because this could also be a blue card. So I'm taking a chance. We'll see how screwed I get. Okay, I didn't get screwed at all. This is great. Now I'm just going to force pitch force. And I've got double consign still up. Actually, the safe thing to do is to force pitch consign, and then I have both options up just in case they... Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, and they just kill themselves somehow. Wait. Why did they die? Oh, they just tapped. It was just like a delay. But yeah. All right, we did it. We hit the positive record. So we beat the matchups we're supposed to beat generally, like the combo matchups. I'm very happy about beating that Nadu matchup. I am not happy about losing to like the mono green deck. But that is a brutal deck to go against. I think that was Laxer that played that. And then our other loss was to Death and Taxes, which I'm sorry, but show me a tempo player who can consistently beat Death and Taxes, and I'll show you a Pro Tour champion. I mean, my goodness, that matchup is like, it's probably like 2080. Like that's how bad it is. Now Painter, I would argue, is maybe 2080. So maybe Death and Taxes is like 3070. But it is definitely rough, and I've gotten a lot better at the matchup playing tempo, but I still believe that we're extremely unfavored because they play lots of basics. They have their own mana disruption. They have all these cards that generate value. They have Vial, which turns off your counter spells. They have so many cards. Let's take another look at the deck. The deck felt amazing. I don't think we borrowed anything. So whether that was Borrower or Kaito, this is like the one card that I'm kind of up in the air. Like, should we have Brazen Bar? My thinking is it's an interaction spell and it's a threat. And we did flash it in, I think, at least once. So yeah, I think we borrowed something and then we flashed it in. And we, we can block Tamiyo, for example, profitably. Not a bad card by any means. I mean, it is a mythic rare it was, before Frog, the number one played card in Legacy. The number one played creature because of its flexibility. As Max Torsion calls it, he calls it flex tape for your deck. So the list felt great. We're losing the matches we expect to lose. We're winning some of the ones that are like 50-50 or even slightly worse. So I feel like we're playing tight, and I'm going to keep doing this. I'm having so much fun. I love this list. I don't think I've loved a list like I love this list since Modern Horizons 3 came out and Beanstalk became trash. Sorry, Beanstalk is not trash. I'm not going to besmirch my former top deck, like favorite deck that way, but it has become a deck that you have to be exceptionally lucky, I think, to get very far with, because the meta is just so hostile to control right now. So that's where I'll leave it. If you're thinking about what deck you can pick up that's better than Blue-Black Tempo, I think this is extremely favored against Blue-Black Tempo. I think it's probably like a 75-25 almost, because Plow, Ending, 2 more endings in the sideboard, like just removing their threats. Almost everything in their deck can be removed. And then you often have the larger Murktide because you're like creature lighter and you've got more interaction spells. Other than that, just playing the 20th land and also having a plains from the sideboard so you can reliably... What are you giving up if you play this deck instead of Blue-Black Tempo? You're giving up Harbinger of the Sea, which is a very powerful card against Eldrazi. It's not that great against any of the other decks. I don't think it's that great against Carnforge. Like, they just need their mana the first few turns, and then they've got tons of artifact stuff going on. But aside from giving up Harbinger of the Seas, I don't think you really give up anything. You give up having like slightly more threats in the form of like Nethergoyf and stuff. But I think in overall, my kids are like making a lot of noise. I think this is way better of a deck. That is just my assessment. It's better tuned for the meta. And yes, there were probably some blue-black pilots who did better than me at Eternal Weekend. I was 124th. And I think there were maybe like 1 or 2 blue-black tempo players in the top 64. But I would say that like this deck was like grossly underrepresented. There were probably like 40, 50 people playing blue-black tempo, maybe more. I mean, it was one of the most represented decks at the tournament. And we had a higher win rate overall with like, I think there were 13 players playing Esper Tempo specifically. So I'm not sure if that's captured in the Legacy data collection project, but it is captured in Matt Chow, who is a great guy. And I want to take a moment to thank Matt Chow for his contributions to the Legacy community. He compiles his own data and just shares it in these videos. Check out Matt Chow. If you're looking around Legacy, you'll eventually find his videos where he does meta evaluations, does some stats and stuff, and collects some data. It's not as comprehensive as the data collection project. The Legacy data collection project gets shout-outs all the time, though. I want to shout out Matt Chow for his great work on this. All right, that's it. Have a fantastic day. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.